Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to GCU Esports League of Legends Varsity. My name is Ben,
And I'm Kayla.
and tonight we have Week 3 of NECC versus the UCF Knights versus GCU Esports.
hmm
So, with tonight's matchup, if we want to take a look at it, so tonight we are in the Champions League for the NECC as we got moved up in our brackets.
Yes.
Since before we were in a much lower bracket than intended, but tonight the skill level looks about even. So what do you think that kind of means after playing maybe like a match or two in a lower bracket that it means for GCU?
Let's see, because if we remember from the first time, it was kind of like GCU kind of like went through it and they didn't really have to try as much because we were in the lower bracket. This time, I think they would need to put a lot more effort, especially if we're in the higher ranks. Higher ranks, they probably need to really focus on like their strategies and figuring out, okay, what do we need to do in order to be successful in these rounds today?
I couldn't agree more. As what we've actually saw, at least I got to see last year as a part of kind of NECC to CLOL, is last year when GCU went from NECC, which they went completely flawless in, up to CLOL, made it a lot harder for them as the challenge rating just went a lot higher.
So I want to ask you, what do you expect from today?
So what I'm expecting from today is that GCU is able to kind of push through, almost like provide. I'm hoping for exciting gameplay, but right now in the actual League of Legends patches, it's more of a slower paced early game into a late game. As recently with this previous patch, the what's known as like the early game items have actually been nerfed so that it's a lot more of a late game idea. But I think for tonight that all of our players are going to be powered by Rockstar for tonight. I also want to give a thanks to Canes for being a huge sponsor of us here at GCU Esports. MSI has been a huge partner with us. I've actually gotten to meet with a few of them personally, and they are wonderful people. Uh, and really, it's just kind of wonderful just being able to be a part of GCU Esports with Fit Gamer, with HyperX as our sponsors. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who helps make this production possible.
Yeah, because if without our sponsors, we would not be able to make this production as big of a deal as it is today. So I wanted to say thank you again to our sponsors.
And when it comes to the league match tonight, I'm really hoping that the UCF Knights can pull something out. Uh, Maybe make it a little bit stronger. Maybe make it a little bit more difficult compared to the previous time that we got to stream the league.
hmm
As unfortunately, it has been a few weeks. I've been sad
Yes.
about it. I don't know how you've been feeling about not being able to stream for the past couple games. I've been sad about it.
Yeah, I've been sad about it too.
It makes it a lot easier. When we get to stream it, it gives us a good chance to watch it.
hmm
And I want to ask you, after seeing the week one and then moving into a higher bracket, what do you think, especially as you've been learning League of Legends? I know you've been like learning, watching videos about it.
hmm
What stands out the most to you about League of Legends from a new person's perspective?
I think it's just how complex the game is because as I was first getting into it, I didn't realize like how like there's so much layers into it, like what type of characters, but like what type of like champions it is, and like where are you on the map, what's your job, what are the things you need to buy in order to be successful. In a while also you need to focus on other things like the turrets, the dragons, the bots, like everything everything in between. So it's just a very complex game. It's definitely not easy to learn from the very beginning, but after watching it a couple of times and just listening to it and from my commentator Ben and just like watching it in general, I'm starting to get more comfortable with the game in general. So
And going into some of the complexities of it, we're getting into draft here. Because for college teams, everyone has everything unlocked by Riot. So we're gonna be using a website called DraftLol. It works the exact same for what gameplay will be. So as we're getting into draft here, uh, I think one of the most important things will be seeing what bands come through and then seeing what champions are picked. Because like you said, the complexity really starts at the characters
hmm
and how a team drafts and what a team plays around is where that all starts. As any game plan, like in anything, the game plan always starts with what you have, what your skills are, and what your abilities are. compared to the opponents. So what I'm hoping to see from draft personally is there's a champion named Oriana,
Mhm.
who she's a clockwork golem who controls basically a ball for a lot of her abilities. Oriana has become one of the most popular champions and one of the strongest champions in competitive play. She's always been good, but she's become amazing. And the reason for that is actually because of those ideas of snowbally champions uh, not really being as impactful, not really being as strong anymore, I would say, due to just the item changes. And for those at home who do not know, snowballing is just it's a metaphor that we a lot of games use for snowball starts rolling down a hill. It starts kind of small with like a small advantage and it just keeps spiraling out of control as it goes down the hill. It looks like we do have a little bit of delay in the start of the draft here, but that is all right. So when it comes to you, Kayla, after kind of practicing a little bit, what would you say is the role or the champion that you have been performing on or playing the most? And what would you say is your favorite part about them?
I think as I was saying that at the first stream, Caitlyn has been my most consistent champion. I really like her powers, and I like what she is able to do. I also like, as I talked about in the last stream as well, I also like Ziggs. Ziggs is actually my dad's favorite game. So every time favorite champion, I'm sorry. So every time we play it together, see him. Okay, Kayla, you need to do X, Y, and Z. So it's like, so I like Kayla and I like Ziggs. I am really hoping they they pick out Ziggs just so I can say, hey, Dad, they got Ziggs here.
So I don't know if Ziggs will be picked. He hasn't been the best always. He has his metas.
Mhm.
Uh, Unfortunately, right now he's not the best in the meta, just because he's not the best at always team fighting consistently.
Mhm.
But I would say Ziggs is a ton of fun. His
Yeah,
entire
he is really fun.
for those who don't know, Ziggs' entire kit is based off of explosions. Literally, all he does is throw like 4 different types of bombs. He has a bouncy bomb. He has he has dynamite. He has not sticky bombs, but like mines almost like that he throws on the floor, and then a giant bomb that, for his size, is just
Mhm.
wrong. Ziggs is tiny. Ziggs is like 2'4".
Yeah.
He throws a bomb that is like 10 to 20 feet in diameter, and he literally just throws it. It doesn't make sense. He literally does a front flip as he throws it. I think it's pretty fun.
it's really fun. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you. I don't know how much of it that you get to watch. Uh, what really do you do? Like, do you watch any of the pro scene at all? Have you heard about any of the things that are going on in the pro scene?
Oh,
Oh,
that we're
sorry about that, Kayla. Looks like y'all getting in the draft here. So, looks like we got 3 bans coming through. GCU is going to be banning Kane and Lilia, while on the blue side from UCF, we are going to be banning Zed, Aatrox, and it looks like Kha'Zix potentially. So this is interesting. That's actually kind of funny. The first 3 bans are all darker themed characters. Unfortunately, Caitlyn is banned.
Mhm.
But it looks like the draft. We're going to be getting into the draft style here, and what I'm guessing, both teams are most likely going to go for a late game team fighting composition. As with a first pick, Jinx wants to kind of scale up a bit. She just got buffed recently. She attacks faster now. It's really all it was. But it's a huge buff for her as an ADC. And as it comes into play, we're going to see what GCU is going to be picking up here. But I actually really respect the Caitlyn ban by GCU, as Caitlyn is very strong as a lane bully. And if you want to go for a late game composition, you don't want someone that can poke you out and get ahead early.
Mhm. I agree.
Then we have Aphelios being locked in here for GCU Esports. Fun fact about Aphelios, for those who don't know, he is probably one of the most complicated champions in League of Legends, even though he only has 2 abilities. That is because he has 5 different weapons, and each weapon can also be a sub-weapon. And depending on what your main weapon and your sub-weapon are, they do different things, and your abilities also do different things. And it's very complicated. He is known as the 1,000-year champion because when he was made, Riot had 1,000 years worth of champion making experience across their entire board. Oh no, 100 years. I don't know why I said 1,000. 100 years. We also have a Briar locked in for GCU Esports. Briar's newer. She's actually interesting for those who don't know. She has a self taunt, which is like a frenzy, where she will lock onto someone and chase them down. She can't hit anyone else until she really catches up to them or until it's stopped, which is interesting. She's very strong right now. It's an interesting choice of champion, like in its own design. And then we have a Yone and Melio picked up. Yone, Melio, kind of going to be more toward that team fighting composition. Melio can just cleanse all CC, which is crowd control. And I want to ask you, what do you think of Melio? If you just look at Melio as a champion, you look at Yone, Jinx, Aphelios, and Briar, then you see Melio. What do you think? Does he belong here?
Just along with the GCU Esports just picked out another champion, Ela. But back to the Knights Academy pick, Melio. When I'm looking at the drafts, Melio looks like a very innocent character. Like there's like all these dark, strong characters, and Melio looks like a sweet, innocent little kid. So I don't really know. I mean, I'm sure you can tell me what he does, but to me, he just looks like I have a feeling he might look innocent, but he is dominant when it comes to fighting.
He can be. So he actually doesn't do any of the damage himself. He's known as an enchanter support. So an enchanter support is someone who's just there to buff. So he will buff your attack range and he will heal you and he will help keep you alive. But he is kind of innocent, except for one of his abilities where he kicks this little glowing ball at you, but it's alive. I don't remember the name of it, but he basically kicks it at you and it knocks you backwards.
Oh gosh.
But we're getting into phase 2 bans here. And we actually got a lot of magic damage bans here, coming from the Vel'Koz, the Karthus, the Gwen, and the potential LeBlanc ban. Now, that Gwen ban from the side of UCF tells me that UCF wants a tank top laner. As Gwen, very strong in the tank top laners, very hard to kind of counter because Gwen does true damage. True damage doesn't matter how tanky you are, doesn't matter how much resistance you have, it just goes straight to your health bar. Which, as a tank player myself, it is not fun. It looks like GCU here is going to pick up a Lulu. Lulu and Melio are both very similar in support style. Lulu is an enchanter as well, buffs her AD carry like Aphelios, not always in attack range, but kind of gives it attack speed and helps kind of keep him alive, as well as an ability called Polymorph, one of her most powerful abilities. She can look at someone, if she polymorphs a champion, they're useless for like a few seconds. They literally turn into like a sheep. And when we look at kind of both team compositions, we're looking at what mid laner we're looking at what top laner to round out for UCF, as Jarvan's going to be locked in here for their jungler. Jarvan is an aggressive jungler. He is like a more tankier, bruisier jungler. So he doesn't die quickly, but he also doesn't do all of the damage. And like I was talking about, Orianna going to be locked in for the final pick of UCF. And then we'll see what GCU does to match it. As it looks, it's going to be a Yone top from UCF. Not a normal traditional top laner. But it's been actually doing quite well in more solo queue style play. I'm excited to see how it works in in college level play. So right now, we're at the counter pick for GCU. They get to pick the last champion, and they're going with an Akali. So it's an interesting composition for both teams, as UCF has a little bit more traditional style of draft. As, you know, they have CC, they have the good magic damage. They kind of have like a good consistent fight. While GCU, they have a dive composition other than Aphelios and Lulu. What a dive composition is, we're just going to go at you and we're going to get to your backline. And so I want to ask you, what would you prefer to play, do you think, as you're getting more into League of Legends? A more traditional, it's a little bit safer, a little bit more consistent composition? Or GCU, who's going for an explosive composition, who has the chance to really pay off, or it could fall flat.
I think for me, if I'm just getting into, since I'm just getting into it, I would want to play the traditional route because sometimes tradition works really, really well compared. Because if you stick to, yes, even though it's like it's sometimes basic because it is a tradition, it is much more better because at least it's consistent. With GCU being explosive, I have no idea. At least we know like they're in it. I think they're going to be aggressive. I think GC's going to try to be aggressive because, as you said, they're going to be explosive, and what UCF is like traditional. So I want to ask you, based off the based off the champions of both teams, I want to know your predictions about round one.
So I think round one. I think is always the most interesting, especially when the teams haven't played against each other yet, because there's always a surprise factor. You
Mhm.
don't truly know the skill level of each person, because while yes, you have your ranks, while yes, you have like your traditional. Oh well, this person should be around the diamond level. This person should be around platinum level. It's all about mechanics, and GCU went with a team composition that can definitely show off
Mhm.
if they're good. So like with the Aurelia is one of the champions that is very strong, very efficient. She has a lot of dashes and a lot of mobility. She's one of the flashiest champions in the game. However, if you do not do well on her, she is one of the most useless champions on your team. And then same with Akali. Akali is an assassin champion. So Akali is going to go in. She's gonna go for the Jinx and the Melio on the side of UCF. That's her goal, to get onto the back line and get a quick kill and get out. However, if the quick kill cannot always come through or a lot of damage at least, she's not going to be as useful. So I really think I would prefer UCF's draft personally, but that is as I'm a traditional top lane player of I like to
Mhm.
play my tanks. I like to play my front to back team fighting. But knowing the GCU players, knowing the GCU esports players, I don't know the UCF ones. I wish I did. Give me a lot better chance of a prediction.
Mhm.
I think the GCU esports players have a really good chance of winning this round one based off of explosive power and then also just the ability to kind of like change or change expectations almost.
Mhm.
However, the hardest thing for me for GCU is if they do not get ahead early or if they do not play extremely well, they will lose. I believe if GCU plays well, it is almost a guaranteed win if they get ahead or if they play or if they play well. But if you just go even, the game will go to UCF or the game will be much harder for GCU. So I
Mhm.
think that's something to watch out for this game is how fast and how hard can GCU hit the ground running. But with everything getting going, I would like to say, once again, thank you to our sponsors, Canes, Fit Gamer, MSI, and then I would like to say thank you to Rockstar for powering all of our players, for powering our esports arena itself. And I think that frankly, after this game one, depending on how explosive it is, I might have to get a Rockstar myself.
Me too.
So when it comes to League of Legends itself, I think I think that one of the most important parts, though, and you can let me know about this, especially someone coming in newer, because it's
Mhm.
interesting. I've played for way too long. I've played too much League of Legends. It's kind of sad. What would you say is the outside of champions learning? What would you say in game would be the hardest thing to focus on? And then what's the thing that came the most naturally to you?
I think for me, like when it comes to the types of champions, I found myself be a supporter because only because like I like being towards the bottom lane. And so like if they needed me, I can just head on over and just trying to get over it. And also trying to figure out the timing of the game, like early game, middle game, late game, just trying to figure out okay, at one point do we try to at one point what is like transition between the early game and middle game. I think junglers is really hard.
I agree.
Junglers are it's very hard.
Which, funnily enough, jungling just got even harder.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
with this past patch, actually, jungle clears got slowed, and the importance of a jungle clear. uh, is the jungle creates almost the tempo of the game,
Mhm.
which is very important, especially in a series like the NECC Best of 3 today. That whoever sets the tempo of the actual match kind of starts controlling it, as a clear speed determines when a jungler can get onto the map, how fast they can gank, and it kind of reduces the ability of the early game potential.
Mhm.
And I think that I do agree that I think the early game to mid game transition is one of the hardest. Do not feel bad for not understanding that ever. I still don't fully understand that always, because annoyingly it changes constantly.
Yeah.
If the enemy team, if you get super far ahead, you want to push mid game as soon as possible.
Mhm.
However, if you are behind, you want to hold back as long as possible, and it becomes a game of who can stall longer if you're behind, and how long can you hold them back. When it comes to League of Legends itself, though, if you had to choose, do you pay attention to any of the skin lines or any like the new skins that come out?
Um, I'm always interested to see like what are like I'm always interested to see like if they do update any characters as you were talking about with this new patch. Some of the champions did get upgrades. I'm interested to see like what's the difference between like before and after the patch, just to see like what are like the type of upgrades and how can it affect the game. And I am interested of the skins too, because I like how they look. They look cool.
We like pretty shiny things.
Yeah, we do.
That's the entire point of a skin. It's just ooh, pretty shiny. Uh,
And who looks the coolest?
Honestly, looks can be amazing, but we're gonna be loading into the game here, and I think honestly, getting the gameplay ready, we can honestly start with different types of skins. Looks like there might be a little bit of a delay on loading into the match though, as we're gonna be getting into match. I want to see all the skins originally, as early game is very slow in League of Legends.
Mhm.
So at the beginning, we can actually just look at some of the skins, because usually when players have their preferred skins, a lot of them actually will choose their quote unquote favorite skin or best looking skin that they perform better on. It happens a lot. A lot of people kind of have their idea of, oh, it's like a lucky shirt
Yeah.
or your lucky pants for a game. It's like,
Mhm.
no, I have to wear this. Why? I perform better. You don't truly, but it makes you feel better.
Yeah. What's your favorite champion? Like as someone who's plays a ton, what's your personal favorite?
So I'm gonna say I have two. My favorite personal one, just aesthetic wise, his name is Jax. Uh,
Mhm.
his entire lore is he is so good at fighting that in order to make fighting fun, he uses the lamppost, and he will still beat you with it. My favorite champion to actually play recently is Ornn.
Mm.
But we're gonna be getting in a game here just a minute. Once we, honestly, I think the game will be a great one to watch. I'm really excited to see how explosive GCU can be. And here we are, getting onto the Rift for game one. So here we have a traditional 5-point start for both teams. Traditional 5-point start typically just means protecting your jungle.
30 seconds until
If that's confusing at all, just let me know. You can kind of ask it.
Mhm.
And right now, we are kind of just hanging out, waiting. Just kind of seeing for anything to happen. Not much happens for about the first minute, 30 seconds. It's very slow.
Why do you think they like take it slow during the beginning of the game? Is it because like they want to save energy, or are they just kind of wait to
Minions
do like a
have
surprise
spawned.
attack? Like, what do you think it is?
So it's really that no one has anything to use.
Mhm.
No one has abilities, no one has cooldown, no one has any items to do much damage with.
Seriously, you two need a bath.
So right now, the minions also don't spawn till a minute 30 in. So really the game doesn't start for a while. Right now, it's just both junglers going to be taking their buffs, getting to lane, and it's going to be slower. But if you can look, one of my personal favorite skins is actually in the game right now.
Ooh.
The skin of the mid laner, Orianna. Darkstar Orianna is one of my absolute favorites. As Orianna is just it's a beautiful skin design. Because her body's supposed to be like a cosmos kind of. and it looks very, very, very pretty.
Yeah.
So right now, it's just kind of a slower pacing of the game. So I want to ask you, we've kind of gotten to see a few different of the skins as we kind of go around the map. What would you prefer? Like, do you like, 'cause that's Oriana right now, the
Yeah.
champion. That is a KDA Akali, she has a K-pop skin. And then this is the top lane. It looks like a regular Yone, no skin. If you had to choose a skin out of all these, what would you prefer, do you think?
I think the skin you were just talking about, the Oriana? Yeah, just based off looking at it, it was very, very pretty. And also like the K-pop skin you were just talking about. Shout out to all my, shout out to, if there's any K-pop fans watching, shout out to you guys. But the K-pop skin looks really pretty as well.
I completely agree with that. What we did see in the bot lane was a lot of trading and a lot of early aggression. And you can see in the mid lane, this is kind of what happened in a melee matchup. That's Melio's kick. That is the kick I talked about. He sticks this like glowing orange ball in you. And like I said, early game, very slow. If you want to actually take a look at the scoreboard here, this kind of what we can see is everyone has very basic starting items. It looks like everyone's pretty even in actual farm and tempo. But what we see here is the Jarvan is top side right now for UCF Knights. He got the top Scuttle Crab. The Scuttle Crab is like, so the Scuttle Crab is kind of what kind of dictates who controls what part of the river. Frankly, right now, it's kind of slow. I think that I would much prefer to be in GCU's position right now with the bot lane, as being able to get a reset here would be great. So you're saying that you usually prefer playing the support role, right?
Yeah.
So if you were playing the support role, you usually play Caitlyn in the support role. Who do you usually play that, like in the bot lane? Is it usually Caitlyn or?
Yeah, I've only, to be honest with you, I've only played Caitlyn just as I'm just getting into the games. I haven't really played enough characters to really know like which position I like, which champion I like for each position. So I really do like using Caitlyn as a back, because especially for like bots too, because I feel like for me personally, I don't know how it is for you, Ben, but for me, I prefer to getting as much bots as I possibly can during the very beginning so I can get the coins, and then so like I can start buying stuff that would help me as I'm getting further into the game. I can like, okay, I know which ones I know which power-ups I should use.
So Caitlyn is actually, I think one of the reasons that Caitlyn was actually banned is Caitlyn is a very strong champion in her attack range, which is one of the largest attack ranges. Looks like top lane is going to have a little bit of a skirmish, probably not much more, as Avoidme is going to be going in. The first dragon is going to get taken by GCU here. Wonderful start to the game, getting a dragon taken here. Looks like they're just going to kind of sneakily take it, but a gank is going to be coming up top lane here. Yone's going to ulti in, and the Aurelia is going to go down for a first blood. That is quite unfortunate for GCU. They trade the dragon for the first blood, which, if you were playing, how would you feel about that? Would you prefer the dragon or the first blood to come through?
I would probably prefer the dragon, honest, because I feel like as you were saying, and based off everything I understand about the dragons kind of give you more buff and more power, and so like, yeah, even though it sucks for GCU that
Sorry, 1 second here, we have a fight going on in the jungle. The Jarvan was trying to invade the Briar. The Briar looks like she's gonna not get any kills for it, but she's gonna force Jarvan out of the jungle and keep her camps. I did not mean to cut you off there.
Oh no, it's okay.
So when it comes to honestly talking about like league in general, what would you say if you had to choose one thing to get, like, if you had to choose one thing to change about League of Legends itself, from watching it, from casting it, what would you say?
Ooh, that is so, honestly, like, I don't know if the point of, like, actually, I don't really know, because I know enough to, like, know what I like about it, but there's something from, like, I think they should add like more like ways to gain power without having to like run to your base and like get your power. And, like they should add like I know that there's some things around the map that you, what are those called? Like when you like
so like flash mode.
yeah.
So Aurelia's actually just gonna go in, get a solo kill on the Yone. That doesn't quite even up the goals from the two teams, but it makes the difference between Aurelia and Yone themselves much closer. I apologize about that. That's the only hard part about casting League is that you'll be trying to talk about something, you'll try and be like analyzing something, and all of a sudden fight just breaks out.
Yeah.
As looks like a fight might go on mid lane here. The support and the jungler are here. Looks like they're gonna go for a kill on the Orianna. Orianna's just gonna walk away safely. Hard part about a ranged champion is that you can just walk away, especially in the early game before you have enough damage to one-shot her. Looks like UCF might be ready to make a match in the fight, but the Milky Goat is going to stay and make sure Ahmed is safe. And right now, as you were asking about, so there are blast zones in the jungle, but what's interesting that you talked about getting back to the tower easier and like with shopping, there's actually a summoner spell called Teleport. Man, Briar's going to be ulting in here, going to ult on Emilio. Emilio's going to flash out. Briar's going to get stuck under the tower, take a lot of damage from tower shots. Briar is going to have to flash out. Orianna is going to ultimate. And no kills come through. Jinx Rocket barely dodged there. Still on the chase for TCR. Milky Goat going to get booted up. Milky Goat going to have to flash. Looks like Milky Goat is going to go down for saving the Briar. Briar is going to get out. Looks like Ahmed is going to go in. This is a 1v3. Not always the best decision. Yeah. But Akali is going to be doing assassin things. Akali's going to get one. Akali's going to go for the second. Orianna is going to flash out of the way, and Akali is going to go down.
There we go.
Very aggressive gameplay from GCU, and you can see what we kind of what we talked about a little bit in the pregame. It's going to be a lot of aggression from GCU, and it depends on if they can if UCF can handle it and weather the storm. Back to talking about items and teleport. Never mind. Okay, that's just a trade up top lane that happens 24/7.
Yeah.
Looks like Aphelios is going to ulti the Emilio, try and force him out of lane here. Teleport is a summoner spell that allows you to teleport back to lane instantly after a short channel. However, it's a very long cooldown. It's about a 6-minute cooldown after you use your summoner spell for teleport. That's how powerful instant traveling is. As a large part of League of Legends, it's just taking your time and knowing where to be when. As we're approaching the 10-minute mark here, the second dragon is going to be spawning, and we can take a look at actually the graph here. We can take a look at the dashboard. Let me see the items and the gold right now. We can actually kind of see how the farm is matching up. And I think that would be a really good thing just to check out, as it looks like the bot lane of UCF is going to be going in. GCU did not know Jarvan is here. The Aphelios is going to flash out, but it looks like Jinx is going to try and go in. Aphelios is going to have to ghost out of there. But you can see the scoreboard just really quick here, especially after that gank. So if we look at the gold itself, it's about a 1,000 gold difference. Looks like G2 Ahmed is going to go in. He's going to get traded by the tower, it looks like. No, Ahmed is going to get out.
Oh,
so,
wow.
If we look at here, the mid lane for GCU is going to be ahead. As we look top lane, Aurelia is going to go in on the Yone. She's going to try and get a kill here, as she does have an item advantage. But the Yone is going to trade back and get the kill. That is just an outplay from the UCF top laner, Biggie Sean.
Wow.
A lot of action going on. This is when the action starts. The first 10 minutes is prepping. Normally, we've had a good amount of action this game. Right now, it's kind of a game of cat and mouse at this point. The Milky Goat getting very aggressive. But if we look at the gold here, a lot of that gold lead is on the Yone and on the Jarvan. As the Jarvan is about 700 gold up on the Briar, and that just comes from the kill and the assist, plus having a little bit higher farm, it looks like. It's kind of right now a game of GCU has to stabilize before it gets out of control. Luckily, Aphelios is great at the late game. Looks like Jarvan is back in the bot lane, kind of hovering, making sure that GCU isn't going to go for any super aggressive play. Looks like GCU knows that the Jarvan is there due to vision though. So there may be a dive coming in. Looks like the Rift Herald is going to be placed. Rift Herald is a very aggressive turret taking objective. Looks like though David, DCR is going to be going in. He's going to get stun on Emilio. And the Briar is going to be going in. Looks like GCU is not going to get anything for this engage low. Akali is going to be going in on the Yone. They're going to be trading out well. Kill almost coming through from Ahmed here. The Yone going to barely live. We have action going all across the map. After the past like 5 minutes of action, Kayla, what do you think has been going on? I apologize, it's been a lot.
Yeah, there's been obviously like, I think the last few minutes has been filled with very, very like, it's very been action-packed. I even talked about, GCU has been playing very, very aggressively. They're gonna try and they're gonna try and get as much kills as they physically can. But as you said, they have to be careful, just because if they're not careful enough, then this could go either way for them. So what do you think they need to do for GCU wise? What do you think they need to do to change their gaming up?
I really think that GCU just needs to find they can't do even fights right now. Yeah, nice competition. They're much better at a 3v3 fight. GCU though, if they can get the Akali and the Aurelia together, maybe just hold a Briar and Aurelia, just to get some good ganks off, get some numbers advantage, they can very easily take advantage of it. But it becomes a game of you need the numbers advantage for GCU to come through, which is really what has to happen. As UCF is playing very well, they're playing smart, they're playing Ahmed is going to try and go in. He's not going to get the kill on the Biggie Sean. Biggie Sean doing a lot of work right now with the attack. And if you want to actually take a look at the scoreboard and the gold, he is up a lot of gold. He's 1,000 gold ahead of his lane opponent on his own. So about 2,500 gold difference between 1,000 of that is on Biggie Sean himself with the which is it's very impressive. Makes it a lot harder for GCU to want to use their game plan if you can't 1v1 them.
Yeah.
It looks like the boy team is going to go for a solo kill onto the Orianna, but a ultimate's going to come out from front. The ultimate is going to win as the teleport from the Yone comes in. This is going crazy.
Yeah.
I need just a second. This game needs to slow down and talk about it. But the fights are going on. The teleport coming in from Akali up toward the top lane. It looks like this is what we just said. GC wants numbers to finish. But Fire might have gone in a little too early. Jigsaw is going to come in. Looks like Yone is not going to go down.
Wow.
That is huge. That is a huge play from the team of UCF. Rocket coming in from the bot lane. That is a huge difference. Teleport coming in from Orianna into the bot lane. To stop GCU. He's going to go in on Slide. Slide is going to try and get out. He's going to be healing up with his red gun. He's going to be able to get out of this alive. Barely. UCF playing these fights amazingly.
Yeah.
So, if you were in the position of GCU right now, especially as a newer player, what would you want to do? Would you want to kind of sit back and take the time, or do you think you could go for more what are called 50-50 plays, which are like you could prosper a lot or you could completely fail a lot? What do you think would be a better play for GCU?
I think the second option, just honestly, like I would much rather just knowing like I'm just gonna go for it. I would.
I apologize. So it looks like they actually are just gonna go for the flag.
Oh wow.
The Akali is going in. This is the cut. This is what I said the problem. This is amazing. Ryu went in, got damage on the front. He's getting a fight. But GC just got 3 kills for absolutely losing nothing here. Plus they're getting dragon. And I think that's huge for GC. Looks like Yone is going to look to catch out the Aurelia here. Aurelia is just going to walk straight into it. Nothing that he can do about that one there. Looks like Yone is going to be trying to dive Clyde here. Clyde is going to get the loop off, but it's not going to be enough. That is a double kill for Biggie. If we can actually see the kill difference really quick here, it's staying about the same.
Yeah.
The gold difference is staying about the same. And honestly, that's not good at all for GCU. They got 3 kills out of the Akali at this point. They're getting Akali ahead. But at what cost?
Yeah.
Ryu's gonna go in here. Ryu's gonna come into the game. They're gonna get the kill onto the Orianna. They're gonna chase down this Emilio. Emilio is gonna have to flash to get out. That is what GCU wants. They want to get these kills, get these picks. We're gonna watch the power of Akali here. There's 2 people here from the side of UCF, and Akali's just gonna go in and do whatever he wants. Akali is very mobile and very annoying, especially with a lead. Akali is gonna actually get the kill, not get the kill on the Jarvan. The Emilio is gonna come in with the save as the Jarvan ult. Emilio just dead Jarvan like
Yeah. That's crazy.
I apologize. I have been talking everyone's ear off for what's just been going on.
This has been a very action-filled game. Like, this has been, like, I've never seen anything like this before. Like, this is insane. Like, as it,
We have another fight going
no,
on.
there we go.
Shot is gonna be going in, trying to get, just gonna get some damage on DCR.
Wow.
King Rocket is gonna come in and whiff. My goodness, this is an action-packed game.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have a chance to breathe out.
yeah, there's so much things that's going on at once. It's like, okay, what is like the most important things to talk about that's happening right now? Like, this is crazy. Oh,
So, looks like we have a break from the fight.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have a break. Let's take a pause here, everyone.
just take a deep breath.
Right now, UCF has a 3,000 gold lead. Now, how much gold would you say that UCF needs to kind of feel safe to kind of, as I said, as I've like to say before, throw a bag of money at the enemy and basically say, my wall is bigger than yours, I win.
Yeah.
How much gold do you think UCF really needs? 'Cause I don't think they're quite there yet.
No.
How much money do you think that they will need?
I think it's either between 5,000 or 10,000 gold difference. Because as we've seen within the first round of GCU Esports, we noticed like there was like a 10,000 gold difference, and that's how GCU kind of they were settled. I think it's the same thing for UCF. Like as long as they hit that 10,000 gold difference, I think they know like they'll be safe within that sense.
I agree with that. I watch a lot of pro play. Worlds is going on right now, the best of the best. And even in like the best of the best players, a lot of the time, a 10,000 or a 5,000 gold difference when the game feels kind of out of control, but it's intense. And the enemy makes a mistake and it's intense. Looks like he's gonna try and Howie dive here. Howie dive is not the best option here though. The Akali is going to get killed very the Lulu is gonna go down. This fight is horrible for GCU. They thought that they had a pick. But UCF brings all of the team in, and they're going to chase down GCU. They're going to get 3 kills here on GCU for losing nothing. And if we see the goal difference now, we are at
They're approaching the 5,000.
And this Baron is going to give them 5,000. I like to say 5,000. The wallet now. Not to the point where you win.
Yeah.
Like kind of smart. 10,000. It's literally you can just take the bag of money and you throw it at them and you win. And it's not fun for either. Actually, it's very fun if you're ahead like that.
Yeah.
But for GCU, it's getting to the point in the game where it's gonna be hard to do anything, especially with the Baron buff coming on to UCF here. A dragon is gonna be spawning. This dragon. Honestly, this might be the last fight.
Yeah.
It might not be official game ending, but it's kind of like seeing writing on the walls. If GCU doesn't get this fight, it might be writing on the walls for them, at least for game 1. Now, keep in mind, folks, NECC rules for all the Never mind, Yone is going to go in with his ultimate onto the Aurelia home. Aurelia is going to try to outplay it. Yone is going to go back to it looks like there's going to be a shutdown onto the Yone from the Aphelios, and then the Akali is going to pick up a kill onto the Oriana. However, Briar's going a little bit too deep here, and she's not going to be able to finish the kill. The Jinx is going excited. Jinx is going into a frenzy. That means that once Jinx gets the kill or assist, she does a lot more damage and has a lot more attacks. She can chase you down with her movement speed. With that kill, I think that the Briar does not need to chase that hard. However, the 3v4 right now, Akali is peeking behind UCF players. The UCF players seem like they're going to be shooting onto it. The Aphelios ult is going to be missing. The fight is going to break out. Looks like the Aphelios is going to flash in there, going to get the kill onto the Jinx. The Akali is going to go in, going to try to chase, just going to try to keep the Jarvan up. Jarvan is going to go in. The Lulu is going to try to keep them alive. The Yone is teleporting. Oriana is teleporting. The Dragon has been taken by GCU. GCU wants to just get out of this fight. GCU doesn't want to take it. GCU wants to get out. However, the Jarvan is going to grab the tool them. The Briar ulti is coming back in. The Briar is going to try to clean up this fight. Wow. It looks like Briar, I don't know if she can clean up the fight. It's just Briar and Lulu. However, that is a lot of damage coming in by Briar. Can Lulu get this? No, the Briar's going to go back in and go down. GCU has a good fight. The end, they get ace. All of GCU's every dies. Briar dies twice. My goodness, that was a chaotic fight.
That was so insane. Wow, that was crazy.
Fight came out of absolutely nowhere by the Yone going in. I think they luckily got the dragon. They are at soul point now. Wait, so if GCU gets one more dragon, they get the dragon soul. But at what cost does that come from? Especially with a Baron up, still up on the side of UCF. Frankly, I could barely pay attention to what happened in that fight.
Yeah.
Kayla, what do you think happened in that fight? And where do you think it all went wrong for GCU?
It was so hard because there were so many things happening at once. It's so hard to pay attention to like what you should really focusing on just because there's so much happening at the same time. Where did GCU go wrong? Honestly, I don't know, frankly. I think they're like you said, I think they're not just they're not being consistent right now because like, and especially like as the point of view fights we've seen, like there's been like a lot of like 3v1 fights or 2v1 fights. Like it is usually UCF. There's usually always two champions together. You rarely see them alone. GCU, there's like GCU though. There's like it's always just like a one person, and if there is a second person nearby, they're almost kind of like a little bit too far to help with their teammates. So
I agree with that. I think a lot of that comes from communication. I think that's been an issue this game for GCU a little bit, especially with DCR going a little bit too. So that's the hard thing about Briar that I talked about at the beginning. When she goes in, she's kind of hard to get out with.
yeah.
The hard part is GCU doesn't have behind. Doesn't have the ease to just go in with Briar. At the game of Jarvan, I would say Hyper Dragon 5-1, 5-1 and 10. Now, most games assists aren't as important. League of Legends assists are huge because Jinx does a lot of damage, Oriana does a lot of damage, and Yone does a lot of damage. Jarvan does good damage with his items, but he's there. He's staying alive and he's keeping his team alive. You can see that just by one death. He's playing very well. And frankly, right now, we have I don't want to say it. We have a moment of pause, of slowness in this game before, and it looks like just because the next Baron hasn't quite spawned.
Yeah.
And my goodness, it's been an action-packed game. I asked for an action-packed game. I said it's going to be an explosive game. I'm getting what I wanted.
We asked for it.
As a caster myself, I think explosive games are a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I think that slower games, I enjoy watching them, from a player perspective, like, hey, how can I play well? Because frankly, as a if you play slower and you know you're better, it works for you. But my goodness, it looks like UCF is looking for a pick onto the Aphelios if possible. So the Jarvan is getting ready, or the Lulu. The Lulu steps a little too far forward. The Jarvan's gonna go EQR combo. The Lulu is gonna go down. The Jinx is getting excited. They're chasing down Clyde. Clyde luckily is gonna be able to flash and goes out of there. The Baron is alive low. UCF, 5 players barreling down mid lane in 3 people of GCU. Akali is not there. Akali is in a side lane. Aphelios is gonna also try to sub damage. He does no damage right now. And especially take a look, and Yona's gonna go in on Aphelios. Yona's gonna be forced out. Briar ulti is going to whip. They're slowing down UCF's push. UCF looks like they're gonna go for the dragon, deny the soul. And if we take a look at the goal difference right now, the goal difference. My goodness. It's actually not expanding. It's somehow not expanding that much. However, it's about 8,000 goal difference. Akali is gonna try and get a pick out of Emilio. Emilio's gonna ult. Look at that Emilio healing and shield. That is disgusting. Akali's having to run for her life right now. But it looks like GCU is actually going to try and burn the Baron. I do not think it's a good idea. GCU has to get off the Baron. Yona's going to get a 3-man ultimate. He's going to push them out. Jarvan's going to get a 3-man cataclysm. That is 4 members dead for GCU. Milky Jones is kind of chilling in the back like, I can't do anything, guys. Then he's not going, chasing him down. Baron is getting taken by UCF. I think that's game.
Yeah.
That is a 12,000 goal difference right now.
That's
for
huge
side
for
of
UCF.
And UCF looking for this Lulu. Doesn't want the Lulu alive for when the team respawns. And even if this isn't the game-ending push, very well could be. I don't know if it will be. But UCF is looking as strong as GCU is down. Looks like they are going to go into the end here. I think that's going to be game. I don't know what GCU is going to be able to do. It looks like the Nexus is going to fall, and that will be game 1
over.
going to UCF.
Wow.
My goodness, that was action-packed.
Yeah, that was.
I don't really know what to say. Frankly,
yeah, I'm speechless.
Congrats, UCF.
Yes.
First thing I will say. Congrats
Congratulations.
What are your thoughts on that? I need a moment to compile my thoughts.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that game?
Wow. We asked for action and we asked for aggressiveness, and that's exactly what we got. It was a little bit slow at the beginning, but then as soon as things got started, I don't even think we had a moment just to be like, okay, let's just talk about like what happens during the game and why it happens, because there were just like one big fight would happen, and then like we would like take a breather for 5 seconds, and then another big fight break out. Like it was super cool as a caster. I think it was super cool to watch.
I think it was intense.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't feel like I had a moment to breathe.
Yeah. Are you good?
I'm good now. I'm
okay.
good now. It was kind of a game of like, I want to ask a question. I want to see how the game is going. Never mind, another fight. Another fight. Another fight.
So I want to ask you, after you take a breather, what do you think went wrong for GCU?
I think the aggression went poorly. So GCU did half the job. They didn't get it all the way, but they did half the job. They were aggressive. But the kills didn't go to GCU's favor. And like we said, GCU needed to be ahead to win that. I don't think going even would have worked.
Yeah.
I don't think being behind is going to work in that team composition. Because you saw, GCU had good fights. They had good starts. But they didn't have the money to keep it going.
Yeah.
They didn't have the money to fight.
The goal difference really makes the difference. Based on everything I've learned about the game, if your team has enough gold and the other team doesn't, it's like you pretty much know you're going to win regardless. Even with the Barons too, you know.
Goal difference is huge.
Yeah.
As I think I started saying this last year, and it's kind of just become a coined phrase I like to use. You throw a bag of money at them.
Yeah.
And Kind
Throw
of
the-
like
throw
kind
the
of like
back
some,
of coins.
kind of like some real world problems. If you throw enough money at it, it works.
Yep.
And frankly, there's just strength of items in League of Legends. I
Mhm.
mean, you have items like Kraken Slayer, which makes you do more damage every third attack and makes you attack faster.
Mhm.
And frankly, just money is great in the game because Jarvan had a lot of money, making him unkillable.
Mhm.
Jinx had a lot of money, making her do a lot of damage. Melio even had a lot of money. I mean, we saw when the Akali tried to kill him, he got like a third of his health back and
Yeah.
2 abilities,
Yeah.
and 2/3 of his health bar were shielded.
Yeah.
It was insane
It was
shielding by them.
crazy.
And a lot of that comes from items and advantages, and it's such a huge difference and such a huge importance in League.
Mhm.
And I think GCU, I like the aggressive style, I like the potential of it.
Mhm.
The early game didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
Frankly, after like the 15, 20-minute mark, it was looking over for them. They almost made a comeback.
Yeah.
Akali got a huge triple kill, but the fight kept going. I think that
Mhm.
was another big issue. Is the fights they didn't really cut their losses.
Mhm.
GC's like, okay, we're behind, let's keep it going. We have momentum,
Yeah.
keep it going. But they went too far. Every
Yeah.
time it felt like they went just a step too far, step
Mhm.
too greedy,
Yeah.
and they got punished hard. UCF was ready on it.
It
But-
seemed like with GCU. Sorry, I don't mean even to interrupt you, but it was like it seems like it was like every time like GCU had the potential to make an amazing comeback, you UCF was like, nope, we're gonna take that away.
Congrats to UCF. for that.
Yeah, you guys played amazing this round.
That is very, very impressive to see those small, honestly, especially after you lose a hard fight, those smaller mistakes and go, well, you made the mistake, now we win.
Yeah.
Those mistakes are very hard. I honestly think part of that for GCU is kind of like a little bit like a shake off the nerves. You know, shake
Mhm.
it out a little bit. They haven't played against opponents of this level in actual competition.
Mhm.
I think a little bit of a shake the nerves out. I think game 2 will go a lot differently, I'm expecting,
I agree.
in 2 ways. Either one, GCU does really well, or the potential of that game kind of spirals.
Yeah.
But after that game, we're gonna be taking a quick break here as we all kind of get ready for the next game.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be taking a breather after that one because my goodness, that was an action-packed match.
Yeah, that was.
And we will be seeing you guys back here after the break. Welcome back, everybody, to GCU Esports, powered by Rockstar, sponsored by Canes. That was a game one.
Woo!
I got a water break, I got some water. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm ready for a game two.
Yeah, I got some water too. I am good to go.
Now,
Whew.
I kind of want another game. I kind of want a game two like that, except flipped. And I don't even want a game two like that for GCU to win, just because I want GCU to win. I would love it.
Yeah.
I want 3 games. I want all 3 matches. That's what I want today. I want all 3 games. I want all 3 games to be close, and I want all 3 games to be bangers. Game 1 was a banger. We talked a lot of action. Not really a lot of dead time. It felt like once action started, didn't stop.
It didn't stop, no.
And then I'm hoping for a big draft change for both for GCU. I like the aggression. I think they might need just a little bit more tank.
Yeah.
They had no tank. They
Oh,
had,
wow.
but UCF had Jarvan at least, who was like bruiser tank. GCU said, if we don't die, we win. If you can kill us though, we're out. So when it comes to though, from game 1 to now, as we're gonna get ready for a game 2, what do you think GCU should be doing to change their style up, or in any way of, especially the early game? I think the early game is most important to talk about. What do you think GCU's early game should look like if they want to kind of change up the state of that mid to late game where they were kind of just too far behind to do anything?
I think like as we were talking about with the goal difference, like especially when the bots come in, try and get as much bots as you possibly can, because that can at least get you a good start. Not a good head start though, because obviously you need some kills in order to get some of those ahead, but at least get started up where you're like, okay, they can kind of start to feel good about it, and hopefully that trajectory it can go up. But besides that, like I said, I like you said, I think they need to change their draft. I think I especially at least have a tank in there, because based off everything I know about the game, tanks can make or break a game basically.
I 100% agree. And I think one of the big parts when it comes to tanks, when it comes to actual team composition, I think GCU honestly fought better. At least mid to late game, GCU I think was better at team fights, but they couldn't do anything with bags of money being thrown at them.
Yeah.
Everyone was throwing bags of money at GCU. I think if GCU was even that game, it could have been a lot differently.
Yeah.
As I know that GCU was fighting well. I mean, we saw with that dragon fight where the Akali got 3 kills. If they were even there, I think Briar could keep chasing. If they were even there, I think that the Aphelios lives much easier. Lulu is a lot more helpful in keeping Aphelios alive. And as we're talking about changing up the draft, let's head into draft for game number 2 of GCU versus the Knights Academy. And as we head in, looks like we're going to have some of the same bands, a Lilia band, Aatrox band, and a Zed band. And it looks like a Caitlyn band is also going to be coming through from GCU Esports. So it looks like that GCU opted to keep red side this game. Interesting. So they want that last pick. So what I'm expecting then is I'm expecting GCU to kind of be able to play better against UCF. Then GCU's going to respect ban the Jinx. The Jinx did really well last game, and it was really hard to shut down for GCU. I like the ban on the Jinx, especially because that was UCF's first round pick of like, hey, we want this. This is ours. I'm expecting an ADC here. Kane was left up, though, for the side of UCF. Is Kane going to be locked in? So Kane is interesting. Kane has 2 different forms. It's known as Red Kane and Blue Kane. Red Kane is a bruiser. Blue Kane's an assassin. I prefer having a Red Kane on my team. However, a good Blue Kane is very painful and very hard to actually play against, especially if you don't have a tank. I think the Kane almost forces GCU to pick a tank.
Yeah.
We're getting into GCU's first 2 picks. They're actually taking the Jarvan.
Wow.
So the Kane was already locked in for the jungle. I like the Jarvan from GCU.
Mhm.
I think the Jarvan's a strong pick. I think it's one of the strongest junglers right now, as he's very good at supporting his team and keeping his team alive while also doing plenty of damage because he's kind of like distracting. And we mentioned we want them to have a tankier pick. That is one. The Yone is also gonna be taken by GCU. Interesting. GCU might just be playing, be playing the Knights team. I mean, they're like, hey, worked for you guys. We can do it better.
Yeah.
Don't know how I feel about that, but it could be potential. As we move into pick number 2 and 3 for UCF, we have a Kaisa being potentially locked in. It's being hovered right now by UCF. Kaisa locked in. I'm guessing support pick, either a support or a mid laner here. I'm guessing support, as you usually kind of lock in your support and your ADC similar timings. I'm hoping for I want Emilio. I don't want Emilio. I'm guessing it's going to be an enchanter.
Mhm.
But looking at this from both sides, it actually looks like it'll be a Renekton locked in. Renekton is a top laner, very consistent, not like the strongest of the strong, not the weakest of the weak, very consistent and very good for your team. And if we take a look here at just the first 3 picks, you can kind of see the GCU is making a major difference already. So I know it's a little bit harder as you kind of newer, as there's 160 champions and you don't quite know exactly what everyone does. But the
Yeah.
Aphelios is going to be picked up by GCU Esports again. I like it. Aphelios worked, and with a Jarvan and a Yone to help set him up, I think he will do a lot better. As Aphelios is a bit more of a hyper carry than Caitlyn is. Aphelios takes a hot minute to get online. Once he's online, he will 1v5 a fight if he's kept alive. Looks like we have a Nautilus ban coming through for GCU. That is a very important ban. Nautilus Kaisa, especially in current pro play, one of the highest priority bot lanes. I watch a lot of pro play. A lot of pro play is Kaisa and Nautilus, and then it's usually an Aphelios or a Xayah as the other ADC with an Enchanter.
Oh wow.
So the Lulu ban is going to be coming through. The Knights don't like the Lulu. She is annoying, especially as a top laner. She's annoying because I want to kill the enemy ADC, and she'll keep him alive for way too long. Then we have an Orianna ban coming through. That's been interesting. I don't think the Orianna performed very well. I think the Orianna was one of the weakest points for GCU that game. I mean, not GCU, sorry, for the Knights. GCU abused the Orianna a lot. But maybe there was part of it that we didn't always get to see. There was a lot of fighting. And as we get into our last 2 picks here, so if you saw this and you were playing, just off the first 3, which side do you think just looks cooler? Like, who do you think?
Ooh.
So if you had to choose,
Oh.
if you had to choose a bodyguard,
Just pick Emilio again.
apparently. I mean, so Emilio. Okay,
Oh, never
so
mind then.
we have Braum. We love Braum. Braum is buff. Braum is protector. Braum takes his shield. It's a door, but it's his shield. Puts it in front of you and keeps you alive.
Yeah.
So this kind of ruins my question. So forget Braum is here. Right?
Okay.
Looking at the top 3 champions from each side. You can pick 2, but the other 4 are coming to kill you.
Mhm.
Which do you pick as your protector?
Jarvan.
Okay, Jarvan. You get one more from the top 6.
Okay, so based off looks, Jarvan and Recton.
Renekton. That's pretty good. I might have to go with the Kayn if he's in red form. The hard thing is we don't know what form he's going to choose, and he has to hit people to get form, so it's kind of hard. But we have an Akali locked in for the Knights. Akali, we saw her last game, an assassin. Goes in, gets a kill, gets out. Rakan locked in for the support. Rakan is an interesting support. He's not as tanky as Nautilus, but he's really, really slippery. He can go in, engage for his team, knock the enemy up, and then get out before he dies.
Yeah.
It's quite annoying. His ultimate literally just charms everybody he touches. He's a playboy.
Mhm.
That's literally like that's literally his lore. And then we had a Lissandra last pick for GCU. Now, Lissandra is an interesting mid laner. She's not quite as far ranged as you would expect from a ranged champion, but her ultimate is such a huge ability. She can either, it has two effects. It can either ult herself
Mhm.
or ult the enemy. If she ults herself, she heals a bunch and
Mhm.
becomes immune to damage for
Oh,
a while.
wow.
She basically encases herself in ice.
Mhm.
She ults the enemy, she encases the enemy in ice, doing a lot of damage
Mhm.
and making it very hard, and you can still hit them while they're encased.
Oh, wow.
Making it so it's basically like a hit him.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna be quite an interesting composition. GCU has a big roster change with this one,
Mhm.
and I'm thinking, at least personally,
Mhm.
I think GCU's roster this time is a lot more favorable.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be not as scrappy of a game. Unfortunately, I'm not expecting a million fights after 12 minutes.
Yeah.
But once fights do start, it is going to be a heavy 5v5. It is going to
Yeah.
be my team, your team, go in.
Yeah.
And it's really going to be about who can get to usually objectives first.
Mhm.
As we talked about with Dragons, and we talked about with Barons, one thing we didn't mention is the importance of getting set up at an objective first.
Mhm.
Because if you're there first, it's much scarier to walk into people
Mhm.
than for having people walk into you.
Yeah.
As because once you're there, you're typically prepared. You kind of know what the game plan is, and you have a second to breathe
Yeah.
and go in. If you are walking into it, especially without
Mhm.
any vision, my goodness, walking into places without any vision is terrifying. Especially if the enemy team has a Lissandra or a
Mhm.
Yone ult or a Jarvan ult. It becomes a horror game because every bush could have like two people in it, and then you don't play the game.
Oh,
They
wow.
can
Yeah.
lock you up for like 5 to 10 seconds straight at times,
Mhm.
and that's not fun because it's literally a game of can I play the game yet?
Yeah.
Is it my turn? Except it's not turn based.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a lot less aggression from
Mhm.
GCU, but I kind of want to get your thoughts on what do you hope for the game? Do you want it exciting as game one? Do you want maybe a little bit slower paced? What do you kind of want out of the game, out of a commentator, and for the viewers at home to be able to watch? Not even like score 1-0,
Mhm.
as Knights are currently up 1-0. Knights win this game. Series is over. GCU
Mhm.
wins. We go to a game 3.
Yeah.
What would you want for the viewers at home to be able to watch better?
I think if I were just strictly a viewer, I would want another action field game because that grabs your attention a lot more. Just because, yes, even though it's kind of frustrating as like as commentators, so it's like because there's so much things happening. You want to comment on this thing, but you have to like, but then there's this thing going on, but then there's happening. I think for the viewer perspective, I think another like action field game, but maybe for like as commentators, I think they're just like a little bit more slower pace, so we can like explain the game better, especially for our viewers, and so they can understand a lot more. Because I would be pretty confused of what just happened, especially after that first game. So I'm hoping for a little more slower pace game. This.
I am as well, especially for some of the viewers at home. I think a little bit slower for the viewers could be better. I'm not
Mhm.
saying no action. I'm not saying
Yeah.
wait 30 minutes, one fight, game over. I'm saying not as sporadic of fights.
Yeah.
I want it where you can see I want it to kind of be where you can show how a lot of League of Legends is played. Of the fight is set up methodically. Each team
Mhm.
is trying to plan for the fight, and then they go into the fight.
Mhm.
So I think that works a lot better, and it's a lot more enjoyable to watch compared to fight, 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 fight.
Yeah,
fight.
for sure.
As trying to pay attention to that much gets really crazy, and with the amount of words that are being said from either you or I during a fight, it gets really hard to follow.
Yeah.
So what I personally think, if I can actually see the draft again, I don't know if we're able to. I kind of want to take a look specifically at mid lane potential of the Akali and Lissandra, and I know how to explain it well, because one of the huge things is Lissandra has the ability to root you, keep you still, move. That's what a root does. Is you can attack, you can like kind of like click abilities, but you cannot physically move, which is very important for an Akali, as Akalis move a lot. As you saw, if you noticed, Akali's really hard to follow.
Yeah.
She's kind of just dashing everywhere. I think the Lissandra is a very good answer into it. What I'm hoping for is, so I'm gonna start by talking GCU side.
Okay.
And I'm gonna talk with the Knights side. I think what I want to see from GCU is I want to see Lissandra roam bot lane, protect, like help the Aphelios and the Braum either stay even or get ahead, and then kind of keep Akali in place almost. I want Lissandra to stop Akali from moving a ton. Now, if I'm Knights, if I am the Knights looking at this composition, I want Akali everywhere. Top lane is very volatile. It's very aggressive. Yone and Renekton, very aggressive early typically. You have a Kayn. Kayn is good at invading the enemy jungle. I want Akali to join me so I'm safe. I think Akali for UCF wants to go everywhere. Wants to keep moving, wants to keep going, especially with her team having a lot of setup. A lot of CC in Renekton, a lot of CC in Rakan. I think Ahmed or Lissandra for GCU has to keep them there or be ready to follow. I'm expecting bot lane to be very slow. I'm expecting top lane to be a lot of fighting. So thank you guys for pulling up the draft. That helps a lot. I think it honestly makes a huge difference in just the strengths of both teams, and I kind of want to see both teams kind of show different strength this game. I think if you show off, GCU could show off maybe a little bit more of what happens when they're even, and maybe UCF can show off a little bit more of actual team fighting.
Yeah.
Versus just having a bag of money. So we're loading in the game now. I'm excited to get ready to watch this game. I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm excited as we load in here to game 2 of NECC week number 3 of the UCF Knights versus GCU Esports. Now, as we load in, I'm expecting a 5-point start again. I can help point those out to people who don't truly always know what a 5-point start always is. 5-point start, you actually kind of, if you look at like the mini map as everyone, once we get in the game, it'll kind of look like just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'll almost be in like close to a straight line. It'll look diagonal. The map is kind of like slightly diagonal. And it's an interesting way to look at the map. So I want to ask you, what do you think will be one of the most important parts going into the very first, I'm going to say 10 minutes of this game? What do you want to see in the first 10 minutes? Looks like we got a pause here, potentially. Looks like we got a potential pause here. And it looks like the game gonna take a minute. Gameplay, we go in. All right, looks like we're all set up here. So that's what I kind of mean by a 5-point start.
30 seconds until
So
minions
as you
spawn.
look, it's a lot easier to see with UCF and GCU. If you kind of look, they're almost in like a straight line of you don't touch our stuff, we won't touch your stuff. The other team is making aggressive plays. Right now, Kaisis is kind of dancing. Every champion has emotes. That is the Star Guardian Kai'Sa skin, I believe. If that is the Star Guardian Kai'Sa skin, I'm kind of sad. I know everything a little too well. Right now,
Minions
Rakan
have
is looking to
spawned.
get an early ward in. It looks like, I don't think there's going to be a fight.
No.
But it's kind of like, almost like a game of footsie.
Yeah.
I'm going to
It's like-
walk a little bit closer.
It's gonna be like, who's gonna take the first hit?
Who's going to take the first hit and who's going to kind of take the bait?
Yeah.
Looks like neither team's going to take it. And welcome back to League of Waiting Games. Let's get back to this question. I think this was a fun one last time. From what you've seen so far,
Oh.
who looks the prettiest?
Oh wow. Okay. I think the stealth boost character from UCF, I like the little wings. It looks pretty.
I absolutely do. So, Kaisa has some of the best skins, I think, in the game. She's my favorite in the game. People say that Riot is biased. I say Riot's making money. And they know who to give skins to.
When you got
I mean, if one champion is a lot more popular than another, I'm going to give them more skins.
Yeah.
I want them to look great, especially if I play them more. So, as we're getting, looks like we're having a little bit of an issue here. But honestly, the game is kind of, as we kind of getting into the game, it's interesting to kind of just think about how slow it honestly feels at the beginning.
Yeah.
If we look at it, Yone is actually getting up a lot more farm than Renekton, but fun fact about top lane, I can say that we play a lot more top lane. It's usually what we call like a slow push lane of, I'm gonna push into you, you take all the movement, you push into me, and I'll find the. So it'll look like a lead for one side over the other, and it'll look a lot bigger than it is. So that right there, that little trick, that was the Lissandra. She could use her little claw to go in or out, so she rooted the Akali and then left. Kind of making the trade a lot more even, while Akali would have wanted it longer. So I want to ask you, Caleb, just looking at kind of the game in general right now. So we talked about a game so they're both kind of more traditional. Do you think you would rather GCU, who I think has a lot stronger potential team fight, or UCF, who looks like they have a lot harder skirmishing power? By skirmishing, I mean like 2v2 or 3v3. And never mind, we have a fight going on top. The Yone baited in the Renekton and going in. The Renekton does use his dash, his slice and dice to get out, including his flash, but the flash is now burned up top lane. So repeat game impossible. As we go, flash, 5 minutes to wrap. That seems like a lot.
But it seems it is a long time.
So back to the question I wanted to ask for potential fights for Gap. We don't have a chance to say anything like last game.
Yeah.
Which team composition would you would prefer to have on your side? Have better 2v2 or have better 5v2?
I would rather see the more intimate fights of 2v2, just because at least you could really pay attention to see what's happening. 5v5, that could be a little bit more difficult, even though yes, it's more exciting to see. You really can't see what's happening with the 5v5 fight because there's so much going on. At least if there's like a 2v2, like as it was happening once before, like I think it's a lot more easy to pay attention to like what's happening.
I completely agree with that. I actually would also the 2v2 fight typically, as I also play a lot more solo.
Yeah.
Solo queue, you're not talking to your teammate, and that's where a lot of high level versus, I guess not high level, but like that's like competitive, and ranked kind of separate. And ranked, you don't communicate it. You don't know them, you don't know what they do. Competitive, you know what the team likes to do. And if we look here, it looks like that UCF is trying to Dragon, but it looks like we're gonna get a bit of a fight here. Looks like it might be a 40-4. Jarvan is looking for the Akali. It looks like UCF is set up with Khan is gonna get
Wow.
Jarvan is gonna get chunked out and ignited. Akali is gonna get the first blood. That is also gonna be Dragon guaranteed over the UCF Knight. Looks like that Jarvan walks like too far up. And that's the scary thing. Like we talked about at the beginning of not having vision. My goodness, not being able to know where the enemy is does a lot to you. That one kill sets up UCF Knights a bit ahead. But honestly, the only person that'll really be an issue for will probably be Lissandra, as Lissandra is the one who has to deal with the Akali constantly. And we're actually getting to a game. The more skirmishes might be breaking out now. Level 6 is getting across the board the top mid laners and soon the junglers. Level 6, they have their ultimates. Ultimates are so impactful in this game. It's gonna be quite devastating depending on the ultimate. It looks like though, Avoiding is getting a bit of a lead on Biggie Sean just as Looks like the Yone is trading back. This looks like he's not going to get all of it quite yet. Looks like the Yone is going to keep the trade going, though. Just kind of get as much damage done. This is what I expect from League of Legends, folks. It's going to be, while it may often get a little bit slower, the players are thinking a lot, and there's a lot going on actually in their heads.
Yeah.
It's kind of a game of where is everybody, what can I do, how do I get a lot of the thoughts in this, or how do I get ahead, or how do I keep it even? As the early game is where a lot of games are not decided, but usually impacted. As a good early game makes an easy mid game, makes a pretty easy late game. On the opposite end, even if you have a bad early game, you can make it up in mid game. You can make it up in what's called smash. So, you know what? So, you played a little bit. You know what the term macro means in League of Legends, Kayla?
I do not.
So, macro, so the two words, there's macro and micro. Micro is your champion itself. Micro is my ability to do this. I want to do this, like in a specific form. Macro is after like normal gameplay. So macro is setting up 3 dragons. Macro is when you roam as like the mid laner, say Akali or Lissandra here. So Ahmed or honestly, I don't want to say Nimanaka. That's like the macro, is like when do I want to do what on the map. So we have Lissandra ult coming out here, not going to do a ton, they're going to chunk the Akali down, and it looks like they're going to be backing off. Macro is very important, and was actually told that macro wins more games than micro. Because good macro makes games easier. Good micro makes you better. After kind of learning a bit about it, micro is flashy. Micro looks cooler. If you can outplay the opponent, you look cool. Looks like we're going to have a flash in from Lissandra. Looks like he's going to try and get a flash root. The flash is not going to connect with the root. Unfortunately, that is no flash on Lissandra. Akali still has her. Looks like we're going to have a Rakan ulting in and knocking up the Aphelios. Aphelios is going to get out alive. Rakan almost dying. Aphelios is going to have to burn the exhaust. It looks like Grom is coming down. Maybe able to help get the kill onto the Rakan. But really, that is a wonderful trade for the side of GCU if Rom gets out of here. GCU burns 1 summoner spell in the heal versus double off of Rakan in the flash and the ignite. Well, flash on Rakan is a lot harder to go in whenever you want, especially early game.
Something that I want to ask you is, as someone who plays a lot, when you play for champions, what do you tend to look for? Do you look for like how strong a champion is, or do you think about like the consistency of the champion?
So for me personally, I'm a little biased. I'm a top laner. I like to see how strong champions are before they are picked. But so I do play on the GCU club team here for our JV team. It's not like a full, like, we're doing full competitive every time, but it is a competitive atmosphere. And I usually look for, as a top laner, what synergizes with me. As even if it's not the best 1v1, if it synergizes with my team, it does well. It looks like that UCF next is going to go in, not much is going to happen out of it. Luckily, he was kind of ready to just disengage. My goodness, though, what I'm looking at in this game, she's doing a lot better this game. In my opinion, keeping it's 1 kill. She only has 1 kill in the game. I think that's really good for GCU's composition, because GCU is amazing in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This looks like a very similar play
Yeah.
to what happened in game 1. However, the Akali is down here. Lissandra is on his way. Looks like the Rakan is going to ult you. They may go for a dive on the go here. The Cage is going to try and go in. The Aphelios ult come in. Lissandra is in the back line. And this is what I talked about, the 5v5. GCU is going to come out with 2 kills. Could potentially be more. Is the Jarvan going to be able to catch up to the Kai'Sa? If Jarvan get an EQ combo off, he just used the Q. He's not going to get the kill. Lassandra's gonna teleport into the mid lane and get to finish off the Kaisa potentially. Kaisa's gonna back off. Gonna try and just run away as he goes for the dragon.
I think GCU learned a lot from the first round. They know, so they, after playing the first round, I think GCU knows what they need to do. I think instead of just trying to like, instead of just trying to go for it, they're gonna try and take their time. They're gonna be trying to take their time with it, and it's really paying off. As like we just saw earlier, now they have 2 kills. That is huge for GCU right now.
I completely agree. I think GCU, based off of that play, what GCU learned from game 1 is they know UCF Knights are aggressive.
Yeah.
They know UCF Knights will fight if a fight's available. However, the composition is a lot better at holding back a fight, as we saw with Lissandra too, with the driving Cataclysm, and then with the Rom. It's a lot better at keeping ultimates kind of back. If that makes it helps keep a fight contained and slowed down. That's what I can say for it. Which works extremely good for GCU. As Aphelios is very strong in a fight, I think Aphelios is better in a 5v5. And kind of Ice's ultimate wants to dive and do a lot of damage. Aphelios doesn't care who he's hitting, he will kill it. So, it kind of comes down to the idea of who is going to pull ahead. I think what it's going to come down to right now is maybe a dive onto the Yona. He's actually going to get caught out. The Yona's going to try and ulti to try and save him, but it looks like G-Star's going to get Cataclysm. They're actually going to attempt to maybe trade the kill off. The Kane is going in. There's not going to be a single kill here. It looks like Yona is going to try and get some damage and he's going to go back to his spirit, to his regular form from the spirit form. There may be a dive on the Yona here. This is very dangerous. However, the Yona does still have the dash. He gets the knock-up onto the Makan. The Makan is going to take tower shots. This is going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but the Yona is not in the best position here. The Yona is going to try and potentially go in. The Yona is going to go back to his spirit form. And that's all of that.
Wow.
Turned into a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
1 kill to each side after like almost like 30 seconds straight. So it looks like that he's going to attempt to dive onto the Titan hold and give it burn. Aphelios is going to burn through. The ultimate is actually wasted from Aphelios. But Aphelios is going to get the first tower, and it looks like GCU is going to start pulling ahead. GCU actually for the first time in this series has the gold lead. It's only 200. It is only a 2,000 gold lead right now, but it's a gold lead.
Yeah.
And if we can actually take a look at the gold chart here, we can actually see who the gold is going to be on. It looks like the gold advantage is about 900 on the Aphelios. It looks like it's kind of spread across the team. But Makana's going to have to flash. Lissandra not going to be able to quite be able to finish off the kill with her current item. But that is all right. My goodness, is this a better short from GCU than last game. And what I saw at the beginning, or mid-game last game, is GCU fought well even from behind. Look at he's going to go for Epic onto the next, and the next is going to try and slice the next over the wall.
Wow.
The next is going to ulti up. He's going to try to get over the wall, but he's going to get out. The Cataclysm is going to commit. Cataclysm is going to lock him up and get the kill onto Biggie Sean. Now, the Kane is going to get out, but that is going to be second Rifthill and second Nelly over to GCU. Much better game. Yeah, but it looks like a fight is potentially going to break out here. I don't think the Knights want to take this. This is not a good fight for the Knights. The Yone ultimate is going to win. The Kane is going to try and go in. The Kane is going to get as much damage as he can done. But the fight is going in Knight's favor right now. The Kane is done so hard to kill. I think GC just wants to get out. If GC get out of this fight, they are fine.
Yeah.
Looks like the Aphelios is going to burn his flash, and I think that fight, overall, GCU favorite. GCU comes out on top. It is now 6 kills, 3.
Yeah.
The favorite GCU. And if we saw bot lane, though, bot lane got a kill. They probably got a kill on the Lissandra. Lissandra, I don't think had her ultimate up in time for the 1v1 fight, and they probably pulled it off wonderfully. We unfortunately didn't get to watch it.
Yeah.
But right now it looks like a reset. It looks like about a 3,000 gold lead for the side of GCU, and that is without the Rift Herald being dropped. Now, the Rift Herald. Since the turret plates are gone, it's more for taking a tower. But the Aphelios is getting so much gold onto him, and frankly, it's gonna get to the point that it doesn't matter how ahead Yone is, it doesn't matter how strong Lissandra truly is in all of his damage. It's gonna be a game of keep Aphelios alive and keep the enemy off of Aphelios. As Aphelios stays alive, as the Tiger's gonna be going in on the Aphelios, and ultimately going to the Aphelios is gonna get behind the Rump. And you see the power of Romney, the Rump's gonna get the knockup. That is gonna be 2 kills going over the side of GCU, potentially going for more. The Yone ult is not gonna connect, but the Ever Cross into Lissandra. That is gonna be 8 kills. The third one going over to the Jarvan. That is with the Dragon up. They're gonna be dropping the Rift Herald in. My goodness, that was a quick, clean fight.
Yeah, that.
It is a 5,000 gold lead here. As the Rift Herald starts. This is polar opposite of game 1.
Yeah, this is crazy. Like I said before, I think GCU learned. Oh wow, another.
How we take it.
Wow. As I said before, I think GCU learned a lot from the first game. They kind of got a feel of like, okay, what is UCF's like fighting style? Like, what are they going for? And they learned a lot from it, and now they know, okay, this is what I need to do to get better. And it looks like the red team has slain a dragon.
GCU is going to take the second dragon. That is, so it looks like we have a Cloud Soul this game. Cloud Soul, one of the worst souls in my opinion. So it's not like someone's game-breaking soul. If either team gets the soul, however. This is what I like. This is what I kind of talked about beforehand before this game started in between the games. Oh, looks like Ahmed is actually going to get stopped. His back was 6 seconds away from Sink. He's not going to get the dash of goal. Ahmed is going to go down. It's really just about how long this fight is going to take.
Oh, there we go.
That is Ahmed just getting a little bit careless. I think he was back. He's probably already shopping. I mean, who doesn't like shopping?
Yeah.
Once you already start shopping, it's kind of one of those like, ooh, I have my money. That fight's kind of like your paycheck. Ahmed had a lot of money, and he was ready to use it. He got a little too eager. Looks like another fight's gonna be happening up the top lane, though. As the Yone is gonna try and pop some connection. The connection is gonna go down. Is the Kane able to turn anything around? The Kane is gonna get knocked airborne, and Jarvan's gonna try and continue the fight. All of GCU, except for Lissandra, is up here. That is gonna be 2 kills to the side of GCU. As I wanted to say, GCU is showing their fighting prowess.
Yeah.
They showed that they were great at fighting the first game. I mean, if we look at the gold difference, the farm is pretty close.
Yeah.
But to see the amount of gold this Aphelios had, that is about 1,500 ahead of the enemy Kai'Sa. That is a lot. That is half an item. And as an ADC, items are everything. Like the gold difference is coming to an annoying point. The Akali's gonna go in on the Yone, but there's gonna be a teleport coming out from Ahmed. And
Wow.
Akali made such a good attempt, but unfortunately GCU was ready for the play. GCU knows how to fight. I think that's what this game shows. And I think game 1, GCU didn't have enough money.
Yeah.
Or potentially the fight, they picked the wrong champion. I think GCU played well so far in this game around clock. The game is not over. It is heavily in GCU's favor.
Yeah.
It is a 7,000 goal lead about.
Is there anything that UFC could do at this point? Is there anything that they could do that it can quickly turn into their favor?
Pick Aphelios. Like, not like pick him like in the next game. Get a kill on Aphelios early in the fight or find him alone. I don't think he will almost ever be alone. But if you kill the Aphelios early, it's like he's definitely going to be starting with Dragon. Interesting choice as Yone is bot lane with teleport though. And I wonder if they take the Dragon really slowly, they're pretty slowly, honestly. And it looks like Knight might go for a fight here, but if you look, the Milky Goat is ready. He's ready to protect and fly. He's going to knock up Milky Goat.
Oh,
hey, the fight is going to be breaking
wow,
down.
there's a fight going on right
instantly going to be killed.
Wow.
The Clyde is going to be getting a double here. Biggest shot is going to try to come in. The Clyde is going to get a kill on the Akali. That is 4 kills
For GCU.
instantly. GCU.
That is so. As they're fighting the Baron, he was playing for our audience. What is the Baron and what is the significant into as they're about to capture the Baron? And what is that?
So the Baron, first off, start Howard's recall. You can get back to base double as fast. Like it cuts your recall in half. The more important part is the buff it gives to your minions. It makes them a lot harder to kill and they do a lot more damage to towers. Cannon minions actually will, or siege minions as they're known as too, will sit outside of the tower right. So if you have a cannon minion, you can take the tower without actually going. No one stops it. It is very, it's one of the game ending stuff because it is very strong at taking towers and it's very hard to fight these. As those minions will do a lot of damage in a fight. Wow.
That's crazy. And it looks like GCU has about a 10,000 gold difference. They're really throwing the bag of money at
Time for the bag of money.
UCF, so.
And like, this is the power of the Baron minion. So it has so much safety in on the field. Like to take that inhibitor. Now an inhibitor goes down, super minions will spawn. Super minions are tanky and they are the strongest minions. Get less money down. Game. I was talking about super minions. GCU got a quick kill, but I just tried going in. He got collapsed on. I looked away for a second. Really, this game? You know,
Yeah.
I think the game is kind of over. I think GCU plays perfectly. I think both games pattern.
Yeah.
It's a game of early game going favorable for one side over the other, and I think you can go to the end here. They have enough players up, they have the damage, they're going to be going for the next tower here. Which, GCU winning this game brings us to the game 3 today most. Now, game 3, going into it. Both teams know how to fight. Both teams are aggressive teams. I think the biggest difference I noticed from game 1 to game 2. GCU game 2 had the ability to basically slow down the enemy and play the fight on their own terms. Game 1, GCU did not have any of that ability.
Yeah.
I think good game from both teams.
Yeah, they're a really good game for both teams.
UCF, I really like the aggression. I like that they went for the plays when they knew they had to make them. The team composition wasn't the best as soon as GCU got ahead. It almost felt like roll swap.
Yeah.
GCU game 1 had to get ahead. UCF game 1 game 2 had to get ahead. I'm expecting game 3 to be interesting.
Yeah.
Both teams know how to use a lead. Neither team seems to be the best at working from behind. And that just sounds like the most cliche thing ever.
Yeah.
This guy was ahead. That's why they won.
Yeah.
So I really think in this game, early game is going to be so important
Yeah.
to both teams. Now, I want to get your thoughts. That was a kind of almost smooth game.
Yeah, it was.
I almost say smooth like butter.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot. Don't get me wrong. There were still moments where it was like action-packed, but I like this game, especially for our viewers, because we were able to explain a lot more things as they were happening. Like you said, I'm very interested in what's going to happen during the third game. Now that both teams have a win, they both know how the other teams fight. I'm curious to know what's going to be their strategy now to take home a win. So based off everything we've seen so far from both UCF and Great Canyon, who do you think the game's going to go? Game 3 is going to go towards to?
I want to. So before draft, I think I favor GCU right now. Because when looking at game 1 to game 2, in game 1, GCU was behind by a lot, but they kind of kept it smaller. While game 2, when UCF fell behind, they did not do the best. So I think it really comes from the idea of whoever gets a lead, but I think GCU, if they get behind, it's much easier. But that was honestly an amazing game. 2, when we get ready for game, we're gonna get ready for game 3 here. So we will catch you guys after the break.
Yeah.
Ready. Welcome back, everybody, to the NECC Week Number 3 GCU Esports versus UCF, the Knights Academy. Now, I gotta say, after that game, my goodness, this has been an explosive series, and I gotta say, thank you to Rockstar for powering all of our players.
Yes.
Thank you to Canes. I want to say thanks to MSI. I want to say just for the amount of help that they put on with the arena in general. I want to say thank you to HyperX for helping provide the keyboards and mice that our players use. And then I want to say thank you to Fit Gamer to helping keep all of our players in the best mental, physical, just best place that they can be for these matches. So we're going to be getting right into draft here. And honestly, I'm expecting decent. I'm not expecting much change from GCU. I'm expecting big changes from UCF in one aspect: top lane. I think top lane was wrong. And it looks like same sides again. Interesting. So usually the loser gets to pick the side, and it looks like UCF wanted. I mean, both teams won a game on these exact sides. So it looks like the bans that are coming through are Lilia, Caitlyn, and then Zed and Aatrox. It looks like the Aphelios will be banned. I think the Knights are recognizing Aphelios was an issue.
Yeah.
Let's not deal with him again. Which is actually interesting in the idea of, well, what is let through this game? Looks like Jinx and Caitlyn are banned again. But what are you giving up as the Knights to ban? Looks like Yone first pick. Yone's been great for whichever team has picked Yone. They've been doing wonderfully.
Mhm.
I'm thinking this is going to be a Jarvan lock-in from the side of GCU. I'm guessing Jarvan. Give me a
Mhm.
Jarvan.
Let's go.
Okay.
Jarvan. There we go.
Jarvan has been doing amazing. Riven being locked in for
Wow.
GCU Esports. Riven is actually one of Avoid Me's best champions. I personally played against his Riven. Not fun. I don't like it. It's a very strong 1v1. It's a very flashy character.
Mhm.
It's known as one of the hardest champions to be good at. But when you are good at it, you are good at it.
Raven looks really, really cool too.
She's very strong. It
Mhm.
can be annoying. It looks like we have a Ashe pick. So Ashe has been one of the most dominant ADCs for a while, and Ashe Braum is a wonderful combo.
Wow.
It's very pretty looking, very
Mhm.
synergistic. Ashe is one of the most annoying ADCs as a top laner because she has a million slows
Mhm.
and she's far away from you. And my job as the top laner is I am usually melee. I want to get close to you.
Mhm.
How am I supposed to get close to you when you slow me down?
As someone who's played, actually, I've played Ashe a couple of times before. I like Ashe.
She gets very annoying.
Yeah.
But we have a Xayah locked in for the side of GCU Esports' ADC. Then when we go into bans, we're having a Vel'Koz ban. Looks like the Knights might actually ban Rakan this game.
Mhm.
Xayah and Rakan have natural synergies.
Mhm.
They actually were created to kind of be paired together and be extremely strong paired together. Now, they're good on their own front. They're both very competitively viable on their own, but it's terrifying if they get to be together.
Mhm.
Now we have a Karthus being banned by GCU again. Looks like the bans have been almost the exact same
Mhm.
all 3 games by GCU. The Jinx is the only difference, as Jinx was played game 1, and they
Mhm.
said never again. We don't like it. Get rid of it. Now it looks like the team of UCF is actually just limiting the supports that can be picked by GCU. They may realize how important it is to shut Milky Goat down.
Mhm.
Especially, they want to get rid of these Enchanter and like helper supports, because Braum is very good into engage supports. Braum stops them with his shield and is good, kind of like almost at times counterbalances.
Mhm.
But GCU says they don't care. They're going Nautilus
Mhm.
or
Oh,
Rel.
Rel?
So they're both engaged supports. Nautilus has a hook, and Nautilus is, I believe, is tied for the most CC abilities that he can chain in a row. Nautilus is very good at not letting you play the game.
Mhm.
Rel has a magnet field ultimate that it'll pull enemies toward her and slow them.
Mhm.
Rel also has a stun and a few other ways to kind of CC the opponent. And is a little bit more creative than Nautilus and a little bit more skill expressive, but Nautilus is just good.
Mhm.
So I like both the picks. Now, we have a counter pick again for GCU Esports mid. So let's see what's going to be locked in for the jungler of Knights and the mid laner. So it looks like Victor is going to be potentially picked. It is picked for the mid lane.
Mhm.
Victor is a solid artillery mage. Does a lot of damage, does consistent damage, like when his cooldowns are up, will not one-shot you, and is not mobile. Like he's very immobile. But he's very strong, and he will, even if he goes even, he will do extremely well in most matchups.
Mhm.
Now, huge question mark. What does Knights bring to the table for a jungler? As jungle hasn't been doing that much. Viego locked in. So interesting. So from seeing the Knights composition, I see
Mhm.
one kind of flaw. They don't have good engage outside of Yone and Ash Arrow, but Ash Arrow is pretty stinking strong, so it can work.
Mhm.
And then we'll look at GCU Esports' pick here. It looks like it might be the Rise. They're hovering the Rise. It's a very strong champion, very good scaling, can match the Victor very well. And right now, both teams kind of look bruisery.
Mhm.
And so these aren't going to be the ADC kills everybody in the fight. Xayah might.
Mhm.
But it really looks like it's going to be a hard-hitting, head-to-head fight that's going to get taken care of. I personally think I would choose GCU's composition
Mhm.
because I really like Xayah
Mhm.
as an ADC, as she has a very safe ultimate.
Mhm.
However, Ash and Braum are strong together,
Mhm.
and they're very synergistic in it's called kiting.
Mhm.
Kiting is where you kind of play back, and you can almost outrun and outgun the enemy, but you don't just straight up face to face fight. It's kind of
Mhm.
like a play a little bit back. Like you slowly walk back while hitting them, making it very hard for them to actually hit you and chase you down.
Mhm.
I think the most important matchup this game is going to be the Riven versus Yone. As Riven versus Yone is volatile. And like we thought last game was kind of volatile, but Renekton gets tanky. Renekton plays well. Neither of these guys are tanky. If
Mhm.
one falls behind, they will feel kind of useless. My money would be on Riven just because I don't know the true strength of UCF's Yone top lane,
Mhm.
but I also don't know in the sense of what Viego will do.
Mhm.
Viego and Jarvan are very interesting. Viego is much more of a get kills jungler, play offensive jungler, kind of be the aggressor.
Mhm.
While Jarvan sets up his team, and Jarvan Zaya is very strong combination as well. I think early to mid game, I favor GCU,
Mhm.
but I think if UCF can survive till late,
Mhm.
they win.
Yeah.
I think they can win a team fight very well, but honestly, I think I would choose GCU, but I want to ask you
Mhm.
if you had to think about early mid game or straight up late game, which one would you prefer?
I would much rather prefer at least early to mid game, only because if you play early to mid game well, that pretty much sets up the trajectory for how the late game is going to go. Yeah, the late game is like, of course it could change, right? So it's like, let's just say if like GCU plays early to mid game well, it could it could easily turn into UCF's favor if they play right, basically. But as I said, I think I think from in my personal opinion, I think early to mid game is very very important because if you don't play early to mid game well, then you're done basically.
I couldn't agree more. I especially think with what we've seen from game 1 and 2.
Mhm.
Both teams have gotten leads, both teams have won with their leads. Neither team has really been it hasn't been like as close.
Mhm.
But when GCU had a lead versus UCF, GCU ran with it.
Yeah.
GCU had that lead and they ran with it until they won. And they won pretty convincingly game 2.
Mhm.
I also believe though that if UCF can keep it even, I don't know.
Mhm.
We have not seen an even game from either team,
No.
which
Could this game be the game where they get even?
I think so. I think if any of the games have the best chance of being even,
Mhm.
it would be this one because of UCF.
Yeah.
I think both games it's been UCF's aggression,
Mhm.
and I think it depends on if GCU fends off the aggression or falls victim to it.
Mhm.
But with UCF's team composition now, it may be more of a slow down the
Mhm.
aggression, which then it becomes can GCU win aggression, do the aggression themselves without a lead?
Mhm.
Which I believe it's possible for either team to play
Mhm.
well. I'm just wondering though, in your opinion, just off of the two games, not knowing
Mhm.
any GCU players, not
Mhm.
knowing any UCF players, and you are much more of like a neutral caster for this than I am a bit,
Mhm.
because I played with the GCU players
Yeah.
before. Who do you think, after seeing game 1 and game 2, will be able to take the lead and like kind of take an advantage in game 3?
That's such an interesting question just because I honestly believe it could go either way. We've seen how aggressive UCF can get. We've seen how aggressive GCU can get. What it comes down to is who's going to be the more aggressive, who's going to be more aggressive, and could they strive it enough where it's like, okay, we know where to get aggressive, we know when to step back and kind of like let either the bots taking care of it, or we'll let like the supporter or jungler take care of it. So I think it could go either way. Based off what I've seen. Yeah, it could go either way. It might be a little bit more towards GCU, but I honestly do believe it can go either way.
I couldn't agree more, and I think this is honestly one of the best ways to get to a match 3, in my opinion. As what I think also will be a huge determining factor is, besides how we player resilience.
Mhm.
So we saw that GCU had wonderful player resilience game 1.
Mhm.
They were able to try and bounce back, able to try and fight off that loss, and they did.
Mhm.
They had a wonderful game 2.
Mhm.
And as we'll be getting into game here shortly, honestly, it is quite impressive the way that GCU bounced back from game 1.
Mhm.
Can UCF bounce back from game 2?
It's a very good possibility that they could. We saw how GCU was able to bounce back after losing round 1, and we saw like how they were able to bounce back. It's very much possible that like they're gonna kind of follow what GCU did, where it's like, okay, we know now what went wrong. Now we're gonna avoid doing that, and then we're gonna come up with ways so we can win. So I think UCF can make an amazing comeback.
I do as well. I think, now this might sound weird, I think these first 10 minutes might actually be one of the most important.
I agree.
As, honestly, well, it sounds weird. Momentum is huge right now.
Mhm.
GCU has the momentum.
Yeah.
It's just like any other sport, like honestly, any other competition.
Mhm.
Momentum carries. And I think that's actually what helped GCU a lot from game 1 to game 2.
Mhm.
As GCU was fighting off, GCU was still trying to do their best to keep it neck and neck game 1.
Mhm.
UCF kind of felt like they fell a little bit off. They fell a little bit off. They fell a little bit short. As we're loading in to game number 3 of NECC week number 3 of GCU versus UCF. Now, we have a different start to game number 3. All of UCF is going toward the bot lane. It looks like they want priority. Looks like they actually might go for an invade onto the jungle. However, looks like Rel is going to spot them out. Brahma's going to flash in to get a slow onto the Rel. Rel is just going to try and walk away. And GCU is just going to give.
Yeah.
They're not going to try and fight it. They're not going to contest it. They're like, we don't need to... GCU already. We don't need to die early. But UCF setting the precedent for this match. We are here to fight. We are here to win. This is our game to control.
I do find it very interesting. As they're spreading more apart now, but I did find it very interesting at the very beginning. There was like, okay, let's just try to stick together. I think that might be a huge advantage for UCF's part, because it's like, okay, there's no way that GCU can fight, one GCU player can fight all 5 teams. And so, but now they're more apart. It can even out the playing field now.
And what's interesting is I think UCF suffered from that play.
I agree.
So the flash being burned by the Braum, by Big, makes a big difference. As Braum, if you ever want to make an aggressive play or he's caught out, he no longer has that flash until about the 6-minute mark. If I am you, I want to capitalize on that. However, now we are getting into the most annoying thing of Ashe. Watch Ashe, and she will literally just sit there and she'll go, I'm gonna hit you, now you're slow, I'm gonna hit you, you can't hit me back. And then Zaya's gonna get stuck, he's actually gonna burn that early cleanse. That's a risky cleanse to burn, however, it looks like it'll be fine. Ashe is, the damage is insane by Ashe. The Yone is winning the trade from the top side, but no kills have dropped. And one of the big things is the cleanse is a lot lower cooldown than the flash, which is why you'd burn the flash as a cleanse spray. However, Clyde is being chunked out here a good amount. He's probably going to have to take an earlier reset. The Rise here is going to be able to get the cannon, and he's going to get a huge trade. The Riven is trying to trade onto the Yone, but the Yone is just waiting to flash. right now, it's just going to be a game of, it's going to be slow.
They're taking it. I think it's smart. They're taking it very slow, only because they're trying to set a precedent for like what is later to come. I think for future, yeah, it kind of like okay, yeah, this is slow. I'm getting bored, but just you wait. As we're seeing right now, action is going to come, and I'm predicting that this game is going to be probably one of the most aggressive games yet, because we both know that both UCF and Grand Canyon, they could both be very aggressive. Who's gonna be more aggressive? We'll just have to see.
Looks like a potential dive. Clyde is actually just gonna get ignited. Clyde is gonna go down, and the Braum is not gonna get the trade. Looks like they're gonna go for a second kill on the Milky Goat potentially. So looks like the teleport is gonna come in, keep the Milky Goat alive. But does not work. The Yone is the Diego is gonna have Zaya's body taken over and get McFeather pulled back. However, the Yone is going to die top lane to a dive.
Retribution is at hand.
This bot lane of UCF is very aggressive. I think right now what we need, and if you look, they're even going for another fight on Ahmed. Steel Team is going in. He's playing very aggressive. They're going to go for another dive on Ahmed this time. Ahmed does have the root if he can pull it off. It looks like he's going to be able to trade the Viego at least. And that is actually an early shutdown. But my goodness, I said it would be a slow game. I thought it would be a play for 5v5. But UCF bot lane is here to fight. They're here to kill. And this Ashe Braum is terrifying, because Braum can get stunned off of Ashe's attacks with his passive. Ashe will slow you with her attacks, making it easier for her to attack you again. It's a very annoying kind of cycle. In reality, this isn't too horrible. The first blood is really what makes the biggest difference, but it's already 1,000 gold lead in the favor of UCF. However, more timing. UCF bot lane has to back right now. So GCU decides we'll take the dragon and we will get something on the map. And dragon just spawned 20 seconds ago and they're already taking it.
Yeah. There we go.
That is an infernal dragon, which will help the aggressive and also fend off aggressiveness of the UCF Knight. As infernal dragon, while it won't be a ton, early game every buff matters. And my goodness, is a little bit of damage helpful. But if we look at the Ashen item, she is so far ahead. She already has her boots completed. Those boots gonna make it very painful for GCU bot lane to do block. As the Braum kind of just gonna be able to go in whenever he wants. If the Braum hits a Q, there's a good chance that someone dies. But GCU looking maybe slow it down a little bit. The gold lead is already kind of disappearing. He is playing slow, playing it well. We can see the damage and the pressure, really. The pressure coming out from the bot lane of UCF. But looking at the farm, the Riven is doing also quite well into the Yone. She's up in assist as the Yone was killed by the Jarvan due to a tower dive. And if you were ever up about 15 to 20 farms, it's about a kill towards the smoke. Now Rise is actually going to be ulting down to the bot lane here, and they're going to get a kill out of the Ashe. Ashe is going to go down quite quickly.
Wow.
That's the power of a Rise. I will say, I did not touch on this earlier, and that's just the perfect example too. Rise's ultimate is just a teleport. However, I talked earlier how important a teleport can be.
Yeah.
It is so powerful, being able to get you anywhere on the map you desire. And move, and just be able to kind of go, okay, I'm mid lane, I'm magically bot lane. As you can see, it works so well for the side of GCU, but Clyde is going to have to actually flash there, as the Braum, they do have a ward in the bush that Clyde was backing in, stopping the back and giving the side of UCF a temple advantage. Never mind, Ahmed is going to go in with the Ignite and the Riven ult. The Riven ulti is going to whiff. The Yone is barely going to survive. But it looks like the Jarvan is looking for something. The Victor, so many B names. The Victor is doing a lot of damage. The Victor ult has been burned. And it looks like no one is going to die from either side. The Rift Herald is spawning, and GCU has full priority on it, as they have rotated their support up, but UCF is going for a cheeky play here. So UCF is wanting to catch the Xayah out and not let him get back to lane, and while trying to get a kill. Xayah notices this, and Xayah is playing back. Xayah, I believe there's a ward on the side of GCU, stopping so that they can see. The Ashe is getting so much value here though. Each of these turret plates is worth a lot of money, and the Xayah is stuck not being able to live. So they're basically neglecting the Xayah from doing anything at all, which is very, very dangerous. However, the Viego is getting very, very aggressive, and it looks like the GCU is trying to catch the Viego out. The Viego's gonna have to flash over the wall in order to survive, and it looks like the bot lane of UCF is gonna be there to help. Quite the exciting early game. I've been talking a lot, but it seems like it's almost back to game one.
Yeah.
Constant action.
I think we're gonna see a lot what we saw in game one. Is like very aggressive, very action-filled game. As we saw with game one, there wasn't a moment where we said, okay, let's take a breath. I think we're gonna see that again with this game. And as there's a 2,000 gold difference between UCF and GCU. That can't. Oh, never mind then. Never mind. There is now 1,000 gold difference. We're pretty. GCU is pretty even with UCF when it comes to kill wise. So I want to ask you, if you were GCU right now, what would be your main priority?
My main priority would be helping out the Xayah. As we see here, Riven is doing fine on her own. Riven just got a solo kill on the Yone. Riven's doing Riven things. The big thing is the gold difference is all of the Ashe has gotten multiple turret plates. And like that is 4 turret plates given to the Ashe. Only half gold. That is a lot of free money toward the Ashe. Plus, when they stop the Xayah from farming, it's just pushing the Ashe ahead. I think she was playing smart and they're giving the Riven the Rift Tail to get extra turret plates. I think it's a game of slow down UCF bot lane, propel your Riven. And it looks like the GCU is playing it well. They are keeping the bot lane in the best position that they can for their own bot lane. I think if I am UCF though, I want to propel my bot lane as far as I can. And the Viego offers bot lane pressure. So even if like you're not really necessarily getting kills, always, even though they are going to get a kill on the flash, Jarvan's going to go in, they're going to get a kill onto the Ashe.
Oh, wow.
And it looks like GCU is actually going to be trying to Ryze hold down, but the Ryze is going to use his phase rush to run away. It now looks like an even fight. However, the Ryze is very chunked out compared to the Viego and compared to the Victor. But it looks like the Ryze has the potential. The Ryze is going to get 2 more kills. Right now, the hard thing is the Victor is going to be chunking out the Ryze, but the Victor's all out of spells. He has no more damage. And right now, this is very, very close. Oh my goodness. I think Jarvan is potentially to go down in that bot lane. And he's gonna run. The Riven is going for another fight. Jarvan is going to go down to the Victor. The Yone is actually going to flash in and go for the ultimate. However, he's going to miss, and the Riven is going to stay alive. The Riven has Ignite and ultimate. There may be another continuation fight up top lane. Okay. That was quite an interesting exchange.
It is pretty even within the kills and the gold of use. They're both pretty even right now.
The gold difference is stemming from Riven. So Riven is counteracting Ashe. That is like in that gold difference. The gold difference is mostly on Victor right now, in the sense of no one is really matching Victor's gold like value. But we have Jarvan coming up here, going for a kill onto the Yone. They know that Yone does not have flash or ultimate, so they kind of just slowing things down. And the Riven's gonna burn her ulti, but they're gonna just try and rim this guy down.
Wow.
Viego is topside on the Rel, like fighting the Rel, but really, Viego wants to get out of here quickly. Jarvan has the ability to dash through the walls. The Ryze ultimate is down, but really, you do not want to fight right now. Luckily, it is a Chem Tech Soul. And the biggest thing of a chem tech goal is all the plants, like the blast cones and like the fruits, are much stronger now, which helps get the Viego out of the way.
Yeah.
But the gold lead is still about 1,500 in the favor of but the Ribbon is doing quite well, as the Ribbon is 1,300. I think as right now if you want to transition into 5-5, you're going to test the Almond out. And the 3v1, the Almond is going to do what he
Big
can.
fight going on right now.
That is too old to burn. But the biggest thing is the gold difference.
Yes.
Where it's played. So the Ash and the Victor, who are the main carries of UCF, have the gold. Rise is still pretty close to Victor. That's very impressive. It's actually very impressive that only 200 gold between them. It is really a game right now of Yone versus like Yone and Dire are very close, and then Ribbon and Ash are very close.
Yeah.
But as you look at top lane, there's a fight going on. Yone's gonna ult in, and it looks like the Ribbon might go down. Looks like the Jarvan's gonna go and get a save for the Ribbon. The Ribbon does not go down.
Wow.
Gonna get the Cataclysmic on the Yone, make sure that the Yone does not kill the Ribbon and get a kill onto the Jarvan. However, looks like UCF's team, I almost want to say GCR again,
Yeah.
is coming up to potentially shut down the Ribbon and the Jarvan, but the Ribbon and them are going to escape. Wounded, not dead. GCU getting a little bit of pressure here. They know that most is here, but it looks like it is a fight that is going to start in the favor of UCF, and the biggest thing is the Victor gets the kill on the Rise. That stops any aggression. Right now, GCU, I think they need the Ribbon to be full health in a fight for the potential win in a fight.
Yeah.
The Ashe is just outvaluing the Ribbon at the moment. And the Viego is even with the Jarvan and kills, but ahead in far and gold. Which the game is going to come down to, like we talked about, this is going to be a 5v5 game with a close 5v5. These are going to be like blood, sweat, tears are the only reason that a team survives, and by barely anything.
Yeah. I think this game is gonna be like, they're really like right up neck and neck right now. Like it seems like right now as we look at the scoreboard, UCF has about a 3,000 gold difference, and they have one more kill. As we were just a few minutes ago, it was just like GCU had more, like maybe one more kill, but UCF has more gold. So I want to ask you, what really matters more, the more kills you get, or does the gold make all the difference in the game?
Gold matters most. Right now, so UCF is giving up the Dragon in order to go mid lane with a Rift Arrow. However, because of the Rise movement, they're actually going to be able to try and support. This is a horrible fight for GCU.
Oh, wow.
GCU is split half and half. Clyde is going to try and get out. They're going to try and see what they can minimize the damage. It looks like only one kill is going to go over. So right now, that was basically a tower and a kill trade in order for this Dragon. But right now, the Riven is going to get caught out. The Riven is going to go down, most likely. The Riven is not going to be getting out of this team for as long as possible. That's 2 kills going over to the side of UCF, making it an official 3,000 gold lead for the side of UCF. But we did see game 1 where GC fought back. I do not think GC's out of this at all. This looks a lot like game 1. But I think the biggest difference is GCU has a much better composition for fighting when behind.
Yeah.
Than game 1. I'm not saying you want to fight from behind, but they look stronger from fighting from behind than game 1. And honestly, my analysis of the draft would have been wrong. As it looks like the Riven is still 1v1ing the Yone quite well, which is very important for side lane. As whoever has the pressure in the side lane has usually sort of numbers advantage objective. Right now, I think the biggest thing to happen is Riven either needs to get a solo kill in a 1v2, right? To shut down the Victor or shut down the Ashe. I think shutting down the Victor will be easier than the Ashe at the moment just for the draw. I think you can kill especially with a Riven and a Jarvan. I think you could pop a Victor quickly. You may have to give a kill for it.
Yeah.
But Victor is worth 700 gold, while a single kill is only worth 300 because of because the bounty that is on the Victor. That bounty makes it so losing a single player to kill the Victor, even losing two potentially to kill the Victor, is worth it.
Yeah.
And the total of gold, and especially if you get the kill on Zaya. So we have a little bit of a skirmish happening in bot lane. Biggie Sean just gonna try and do a little bit of damage, and then he's gonna back out of the fight. Right now, there's no objectives to fight for. There is no Baron. Baron spawns in a minute and a half. And it's gonna be a game of, there may be a fight if the Braum wants to try and catch out the Rel with the Viego and the Ashe. But there's no reason to really fight unless they see a perfect opportunity. Like this, they see an opportunity on Jarvan. Jarvan has enough mobility to just walk around. While the Ryze and the Victor are kind of just matching each other in the farm. Now, this is actually a good thing to if they keep it even.
Yeah.
So when you are behind, when you are ahead, the goal is to keep snowballing it as much as possible. When you are behind, you want to neutralize the enemy gains. As the longer the game goes on, the less gold matters. As 1,000 gold difference between one player to another is not as impactful at like 30 minutes as it is at 10 minutes.
Something I want to ask you, as we're talking about the gold difference, if you were on either UCF or GCU,
hold on here, we have a potential pick on the Ahmed. The Victor is going to keep trying to chase with the Viego, but it is not going to be continuing. The Ashe arrow is going to miss. Apologize.
No, it's okay.
Continue with your question.
If you were, since we're seeing about a 4,000 gold difference between UCF and GCU, if you were UCF, what type of like power-ups you would buy with the gold difference?
I think right now, though you were stronger, the typical idea and model for League of Legends is if you are very ahead, get tanky. Buy some more defensive utility. Money obviously do enough damage.
Yeah.
If you are behind, buy damage. So right now we have a fight breaking out in the mid lane. Ashe so much damage, but it's lost amount of Cataclysm. And Clyde is going to get a beautiful ult off. That is only going to be one kill. Most likely just a single kill from that entire exchange. Looks like Ahmed might get caught out here. Ahmed's going to get chunked. He's also going to get low. Looks like they're going to chase the Ryze down. Yone ultimately going to come in, going to get a double knockup. And there's going to be multiple resets coming in by the Viego. But the Victor's going to take 2 tower shots. The Victor's going to go down. The Riven has her ultimate out. The Riven could be a game changer in this. Zaya just got that shutdown from the Victor. That is a massive blunder by Victor to walk in a tower and just die for free. That is about 1,000 more gold into the pockets of the Zaya. That is very important. If you take a look at the gold here, that only makes it 1,000 gold difference between the Zaya and the Ashe. The biggest difference right now is the Viego and the Jarvan. However, Jarvan doesn't need as much money as Viego does. Jarvan goes in, does a decent amount of burst damage, locks you up.
Yeah.
That's how the Ashe got. I think that was a beautiful start of a fight. It took, but
could GCU make a comeback?
I do not believe this game is out of either team's hands. As this game, unlike the previous game, as hang on, he's going to get a pick on the Ashe. Ashe is going to flash. He's going to win the flash. He's stuck in a Cataclysm. And Ashe is going to go down. The Viego and the Victor are looking for a fight. So the Viego is going to go in. They're going to block up the Milky Go. That is going to be a 1-for-1. They're going to look to try and chase down the Jarvan and the Zaya. However, they are going to get out. That is a 1-for-1, which is huge for GCU. Like we said, GCU being able to go in when behind is important.
Yeah.
However, looks like the Yone is going to try and go for a play on the Ryze. The Yone is going to miss the ultimate. The Ryze is going to destroy the Yone.
That's cool.
Ryze cleanly outplayed it. Honestly, didn't even look like he had to work much for that kill. And that is a huge kill for the Ryze. Getting that side lane, he's going to get the tower. The tower is worth about 500 gold if Ryze can take it here. And that also just forces someone to go and match that Ryze, making this fight a lot harder as the Rise is going to try and catch up the Ashe. Ahmed popping off, but the Ashe is going to try and trade back. The Ashe ult is not enough, as the close range Ashe ulti is not going to get a long enough stun. He's going to start up the Baron. This is a 4v3 in the favor of GCU. They're going to back off the Baron.
Yeah, they're going to back off.
The issue with the Baron, Baron with GCU armor and MR. You take a lot more damage when you're fighting Baron. You do not want to risk a flip. GCU is making a comeback. The gold lead is about 2,500 now compared to the 4,000 it was before. That is huge. The Rise is now ahead of the Victor by 700 gold. The gold difference is the Diego and the Jarvan. Everything else is pretty close to even. There is a gold difference in the Ashe and Zaya, but as we're seeing, the Zaya is playing well.
Yeah. So, as we're seeing on the screen here, objective bounties are basically on screen. For our viewers out there and myself, what are our objective bounties? What is objective bounties and why are they so important?
So objective bounties, they just went away because of GCU getting all the gold. Objective bounties are when a team is up about 5,000 gold, and it makes it so the team who is down gets more gold for taking a tower, and more. It's a potential comeback mechanic. It's not a good one in the sense of it won't win you games, but if you play well, it rewards you for playing well from behind. It is interesting. They've had to nerf it a few times, like change it a bit because it used to be strong where you get behind and then instantly come back in. Kind of punishing any idea of wanting to actually. Right now, this is an interesting dynamic. So the Rise does have teleport to join in any fight with Rise. Rise is going to push bot lane. Right now, this is called, or like what I will call, I've heard other people call it this, the Baron dance. It's the vision dance. It's the Baron dance of basically you want to get vision on the Baron. You do not want the enemy to take Baron, but you can't take it yet.
Yeah.
If you start the Baron, there's a good chance you lose the fight. But, the Ashe is Rise one-shotting the Yonex! That is huge. The Rise is going to take an inhibitor. Ahmed is single-handedly right now saving this game for GCU.
Yeah.
As people are going to have to back to stop the Rise. Who should have ended the game. He's going to take a Nexus tower potentially. The Rise is going back to match. And Ahmed is going to get chunked out. Ahmed might go down, but he's going to take a Nexus tower with him on his way.
There we go.
But because of the Victor having to go in that fight, he's going to take a fight in.
Wow.
He's going to get another kill. And GCU is going to turn towards the Baron. The Diego is still up for a potential steal. But this is really risky from the side of UCF. I don't think the Baron is going to be taken, as it's a little bit risky to take the actual Baron right now, as there's enough damage from UCF with the Rise alive. I mean, with the Victor back alive. However, Dragon is spawning. This Dragon will be a fight. This Dragon will not be game-deciding game in that game. It will be huge.
Yeah.
Looks like what? Actually, I don't know if you're going to get that. He's looking like they're going to go for the Baron, actually. So while UCF is going for the Dragon, he's going to take the Baron. It's going to be a trade of objectives. I don't know if UCF is going to be able to get up there to stop this Baron take. The jungler of GCU is very low, though, but with Zaya and Riven there, the Baron is going to be taken, and the Rise is going to ulti all the team out to safety.
And now they're pretty even now on the gold. This is huge for GCU.
It is a 400 gold difference. You asked before, can GCU make a comeback? I said yes. This is a comeback.
Yeah. This is amazing for GCU because, like, as you said, before they took out Baron, they were like a few thousand gold difference. Now GCU is like, okay, not only we took the Dragon, but we also took the Baron, and now we're gonna make an amazing comeback.
So it was an interesting choice for UCF to go for the Dragon there, knowing that Baron is up.
Yeah.
As with UCF getting the Dragon, they were at the gold point, which they win by getting both games. However, what I think the biggest difference between these two games is becoming is we saw in game one, GCU was much better in fighting the deficit.
Yeah.
GCU's fighting from the deficit, and they're playing it well. Ahmed is going to get caught out here. That is two ultimates going to be burned for him. He's going to use a stopwatch to delay as long as possible before he goes down. Yone is going to ulti. Clyde is very low. Clyde is going to ulti out, but he is going to go down. That is huge from the side of UCF. This game is going back and forth, back and forth.
As I said before, this game is going to be very much neck to neck. So who's going to like ultimately get the win? We'll have to see.
So this is going to be a close one. I think
Yeah.
UCF is going to be taking the inhibitor here.
Yeah.
Very easily as with 3 people down, that is the biggest damage. I don't think UCF should go for the end here. They look like they're prepping for an end potentially. I think an end here could be a potential goal. There are super minions pushing the bot lane. But UCF looks like they're going to go for the end. They'll be going, and Garbage is going to have to stall for the fight. However, Clyde is now up. Clyde is a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage going for ECR, but Diego is going to save the game.
Oh, wow.
That is game number 3. Going in favor of UCF. That is game 3, and UCF is going to take the win for this series. My goodness, that was a close game. I thought GCU had that after the
Yeah,
Baron
me
take.
too. I thought they had it.
That was such a huge, huge fight from UCF to win that game. That was an amazing series from both teams. Congrats to both teams fighting it out,
Seriously.
going hard, wanting to go for the win. All I can say is congrats to both teams. That one was really hard. That one came down to micro mistakes
Yes.
of who won and who lost. But that'll do it. That'll do it for week 3 of NECC of the GCU varsity team versus UCF. UCF comes out with the win today. Close match. But I would like to say thank you to Rockstar. Thank you for powering our players, Rockstar. Thank you for Cadence for sponsoring us. And my name is Ben.
And I'm Kayla.
And we will catch you guys next week in week 4.